Welcome back to Macrodosing. Hello, Macrodosians. We got Billy in studio. We got Big T in studio. Avery, Mad Dog. Arian is out. He had a previously scheduled doctor's appointment. Hopefully we'll catch up with him and he'll give us the lowdown on what he's doing this week. It's not, trust me, he's fine, but he's doing something that could be kind of interesting. So we'll catch up with him later on that. Before we get into today's show, which features a great guest, very nice guy, Coyote Peterson. You recognize him from Brave Wilderness on YouTube. He's been stung and bitten by the most painful animals in the world. A very nice guy, and I think that him and Billy are now best friends. I think Billy works for him for free now, and Billy's just going to leave this podcast and team up with him in the future. But before we get into all that good stuff, I'm here to talk to you about Game Time. Game Time is a ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows, and they guarantee the lowest price. Mad Dog, you're probably going to go to one of these Harry Styles concerts, right?
I'm going to two.
Two of them. Game Time.
Game Time.
Game Time hooking it up.
Yep.
We went to see Sum 41. Mad Dog came down to the beach. Billy came down to the beach, but he left early. Sum 41 and Simple Plan. Game Time was all over that one too. There's a lot of NFL games that are about to get started. I want to go to the Bears-Commanders game in Chicago. We're going to be using Game Time for that. It's ticket season. It's ticket season. You should be using Game Time. It's the easiest app to use for last-minute ticket deals, whether it's a sporting event, a live show, a concert. You're going to love using Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Go to the account tab, create your login, and redeem code MACRO for $20 off your first purchase. I'm telling you, some terms apply on this, but if you want to go to a concert, a sporting event, you haven't used Game Time yet, I'm giving you $20 in your pocket. You just have to use the promo code MACRO. Again, the promo code is MACRO for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time, last minute tickets, lowest price, all guaranteed. The best ticket app in the world. Okay, let's get into macrodosing. How's everybody doing today? We all good?
Doing great. Relaxing weekend.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, Big T, you good?
I'm doing perfectly average.
8, okay.
Are you whelmed?
Whelmed.
He's
Whelmed, that's
whelmed.
perfect. That's how you know he's in the zone.
Yeah.
We got, it's not Big T today, it's Sweet Tea today.
Why
Southern
is that?
style, Sweet Tea. Just because you're doing just neutral, you're doing good.
Oh,
Everyone
I see.
loves Sweet Tea.
I see.
Long Island Iced Tea. That'd be another cool nickname when you throw it off the Angry Orchards.
Totally.
When you
Avery also came down to the shore this weekend.
I did.
Avery has the Bronco now. Sweet car. Love it.
It was a lot of fun.
We
had a great time.
It was a good macrodosing mini field trip down to Asbury Park. I liked having all you guys around. It was good vibes in the house. Billy made his bed, and he did a pretty good job at it. Mad Dog made her bed. She did. Honestly, I'm being totally honest here. If I'm grading visitors on their bed making prowess, Jake is number one. Obviously. Jake is he's on a different level when it comes to making
Cut
bed.
from a different cloth.
Yeah.
I think Billy made his bed better than you.
Shit.
Yeah.
Good for you, Billy.
Get dunked on.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you guys were both great house guests. We love having you. It's sad because the summer's over now.
It's not over. You know what I realized? It's all a state of mind. So I was thinking about this. This is my second fall not going to school.
I was just about to say the same
And
thing.
the first fall, I played scared. Because I got into that mindset like, oh, we're back to school, like that sort of mindset. I was like, wait a second, I can go to the beach until December.
Yeah. No
like
school.
No school. Like
No
I can,
homework.
Yeah, I can go, and if I want to swim, I'll swim. The sun's gonna be out sometimes. Like if you see, like if it's September and 55 degrees, the water's still warmer than it is in like May or June sometimes. So you can still swim.
Yeah.
So I'm not stopping.
Billy's realizing
I'm not
that
fucking leaving.
He's realizing he's an adult now.
Yeah,
That's the thing. So it's a double-edged sword because it's summer, but summers don't hit the same after you graduate from school because you don't have summers off unless you're a teacher. But for us, there's no difference. Like we were still doing our jobs. We were just going to the beach a lot more. And you can continue to go to the beach as long as you do your job. How about that?
Yeah. I'm going to keep going. And I don't mind the cold. I love cold water.
Yeah.
I want to be out there.
Big takeaway from this weekend, Billy did not catch a seagull. On Friday, I put $1,000 bounty. I said, if Billy can catch a seagull with his bare hands, $1,000.
So I saw those tweets. How long was he actively trying to catch a seagull?
2 hours?
No, come on.
Billy.
It was, I didn't want to be antisocial and run around catching a seagull.
For $1,000?
PFT.
Well, I
would
wanted to
say 2
enjoy
hours.
my weekend.
It was off and
priceless
on.
time.
I'd say in terms of active time hunting a seagull, it was probably more like 45 minutes. But
Yeah.
he was still like in seagull. He was on the watch for nearby seagulls.
You were
for
strategizing.
about 2 hours. Yeah,
Yeah.
he spent
Yeah.
a lot of time thinking about it. Billy actually deputized a group of like 8-year-old girls
Yeah.
to help him get the seagulls,
Mhm.
and he offered to pay them $100.
Yeah, because
But
if I had
you know-
gotten $1,000 for catching the seagull,
But do you know that
easy write-off.
if the girls had caught the seagull,
They
then
get the
that's
$1,000.
their money.
I know it was at that point where I was just like, I'm not gonna, honestly, I've gotten to the point where it's like, I'm not gonna look like an idiot chasing after a seagull. You know, it's not worth it to ruin the weekend.
How would that have ruined the weekend?
Yeah.
It would have made the weekend better.
Yeah.
You would have
If
gotten
I-
$1,000.
I mean, I was chilling at the beach. I wanted to chill at the beach. I don't want to be running around chasing seagulls.
presumably tax free from some of the things you've said on this show.
Yes. Yeah, we've been under the table.
There was some extenuating circumstances, but if it was a different
what were
time,
those extenuating circumstances?
we were chilling.
That's the extenuating circumstance. Is you were
I
chill-
came to chill.
You were
I was
chilling too hard.
I was chilling too hard. I wasn't aggro.
It was funny because he had this army of girls running around. I said that he was like Joseph Kony with his
Yeah.
child army trying to hunt seagulls. And at one point, I saw Billy like standing back, and all the girls were going after these seagulls. And I said, Billy is like, it's like watching a pride of lions attack something because the women are the hunters while the male stays behind and just kind of suns himself and naps for a little bit. And I turn around and I look at these girls, and they're actually on all fours crawling across the beach exactly like lionesses were. You did a good
Yeah.
job in terms of outsourcing your hunt.
Yeah.
And then the parents of the kids, we were a little worried because we're like, maybe these parents aren't going to be that happy that some stranger is sending them out to go catch birds. But the parents were like, oh, this is awesome. Free babysitter.
Yeah.
We're going to get hammered on the beach
Yeah.
while Billy's off taking care of her kids.
And then he played jackpot with them and hit them in the face like
No.
the whole time.
Okay. I
Yeah.
was playing jackpot and I was throwing the ball up super high in the sky, and these kids were catching them with the ball with their face. And it wasn't my fault.
No, what happened?
I blame the parents.
What happened was Billy got really excited about like having all these kids excited to be playing with him because Billy at heart is an 8-year-old. And so he started, would you say like $20? You said you were going to give.
I was throwing up the ball for cash amounts. Like I was playing jackpot with actual money because like to them the money was like $1 to them was like $100. So I was like $1,
But Billy
$5.
Billy threw this one ball so high in the air. It was a volleyball, right?
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
volleyball. He chucked it up super high in the air, and this poor girl runs over to the spot where it's going to land. And she was pretty athletic. She was quick.
Yeah.
She got under the ball, put her hands up, and it went right between her hands and hit her right in the face.
Yeah.
You probably sent it up maybe 50 feet in the air.
Sounds like
Yeah,
she wasn't
I mean,
all that athletic.
It
then.
was only alive. It wasn't dead or alive. I was doing $5 alive. So they had to catch it. No bounces.
Mhm.
Jackpot's a great game. Adult jackpot, I think, would do well on ESPN.
We used to call it 500.
Oh.
yeah,
yeah.
I've heard both. Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you think would be the best professional athlete at 500?
Just
I
out
mean,
of
just a tall receiver.
Yeah.
You think so?
LeBron.
LeBron
or
would
like
be
a
pretty
punt
good.
returner.
No, too small.
Yeah, because you need to get a
Yeah, you got
rebound.
to jump.
So I would say, a good tall receiver like DK would probably be pretty good. Doesn't involve a lot of
Right.
side to side. I would say that.
Or like Giannis or KD because they're so much taller.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe Giannis. Giannis can jump higher than KD. He's got longer arms, I think. Giannis might be the GOAT right now. Or you could get like Boban. Boban would be pretty good. He wouldn't even have to jump.
Yeah, but he couldn't get like the dead or alive balls
That's true.
that were off to the side.
That's true. But in terms of strictly catching, I think I would go with Giannis. I think he'd be. I think hands down he would be the best.
I know this episode's about animals. My thoughts and prayers go out to Poe, the Ravens mascot. It's a tough
Yeah.
scene.
He's faking it.
Oh, I forgot they were playing the Commanders that game.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's okay. He's faking it though. Post faking it. He was not. I watched the replay. His left knee does not bend. It doesn't buckle. He's milking it. He's doing. You know how mascots are sometimes.
Is there anything more demoralizing than tearing your ACL in a mascot costume and then getting grittied on?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Except, so Big Cat was very impressed that he kept the mascot head on as he got carted off.
Yeah.
That shows dedication to mascot life. I'm almost positive that he is not seriously hurt. I think it's a big stunt because he's seen like bloopers taking over the world, right, Big T? Bloopers taking everybody's shine.
I was gonna say, did you guys see Billy's nemesis blooper just destroying kids on,
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
football field?
Yeah, bloopers. He's taken over the viral shine of all the mascots recently.
He's the GOAT.
I think Poe saw
Honestly-
that, and Poe's like, you know what? I gotta make a name for myself. I'm gonna fake an injury. So that little bitch, he's fine.
I mean, I gotta be honest. Bloopers, like, I'll give him his flowers. Like, it's fun banter, but he has really changed up the mascot game.
Yeah.
Like, I know more about Blooper than
I
any
do
other.
about the Braves.
Yeah, exactly. Like, good for him.
Because he's the GOAT.
He was created in a lab by the CDC.
Interesting.
Another common blooper win over
Wait.
you, Billy.
When did he start getting popular? Around 2019, end of 2019?
Interesting. That's very interesting timing. He was born in Wuhan. They were doing gain of function research on the Phoenix Suns gorilla, and they came up with blooper.
Well, the
Wouldn't be
Philly
the only thing they were
Fanatic, the
doing
Philly Fanatic was also built in a lab.
Was he?
Yeah.
The Philly Fanatic, he was a cool mascot. He used to get into fights with Tommy Lasorda all the time. Like actual fights. Tommy Lasorda tried to like rip his mascot head off and throw him on the ground. It was like actual bad blood. But Tommy Lasorda would fight anybody. But yeah, I feel like Blooper's kind of he's taken a lot of the air out of the other mascots. There's got to be some jealousy there. I wouldn't be surprised to see the mascots kind of team up against him.
Yeah. Honestly, he's like Thanos.
Yeah. What sport do you think it's most important to have a good mascot in?
Baseball.
I don't know.
Because there's so
I'd
much
say
more
NBA.
time.
NBA is super important because the mascots get their own shows.
Yeah, they're like on the court.
They're gymnasts and stuff. They're jumping off trampolines, doing dunks.
Yeah, but I feel like the dancers are more of the attraction.
I don't know. I feel like it's nice to have a good mascot in baseball. It's great to have a good mascot in football. I love Jackson DeVille from the Jaguars.
See,
He's
I think NFL, it doesn't matter at all. College, it matters.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a little bit different in college too because I love live animal mascots.
Right.
I think
live people mascots.
I think yeah, that's
West
true too.
Virginia Mountaineer, the
The leprechaun fighting Irish. Yeah. I really love Smokey.
Oh,
Smokey's
goat.
I think Smokey's my favorite college mascot.
It's a good one.
Honestly, the first mascot that really, had an impact on me as a child was probably the Oregon Duck.
Yeah. Yeah, Puddles.
Puddles with the push-ups.
Yeah, Puddles was great. And then you remember the Robo Duck. I love talking about the Robo Duck.
Yeah,
When
the
they-
The
Robo Duck.
hatching of
Yes.
is one of the funniest videos of all time.
They tried to make like a swaggy like year 2000 version of Puddles the Oregon Duck, and they hatched it live on the field, and he jumped out and he had like an 8-pack. He looked like he had Batman's body.
Yeah.
And he started like dancing around. It's like, watch out, the Matrix is now
What was his
involved in
name?
mascottery. Drake?
Mandrake.
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 The Robo Duck was an all-time marketing fail
Oh, scared.
by Oregon.
Scared.
It's a terrifying looking thing. Like, if I was a child and that thing like came up to me,
But I think they underestimated, or they to borrow a quote from George W. Bush, they misunderestimated why people liked Puddles the Duck, because he's goofy and he's got this like kind of Donald Duck thing going on, and you don't expect him to be doing anything cool, but then he comes out and knocks your socks off. And everybody loves Puddles. He's a goofy, funny, silly mascot, and they're like, you know what? We're gonna make him aggressive. We're gonna make him into like Neo from the Matrix if he was in a duck outfit. And it was a big flop. But I would say Smokey's number one. I love Smokey. Obviously love Mike the Tiger. Mike the Tiger's great. Love the Husky at University of Washington. I got to meet the Husky last year at the Apple Cup. That was a great moment. We bonded. What are some other good live? Oh, Ralphie the Buffalo. When we were out at
it's a good one.
University of Colorado, we went to the stadium for a little bit, and I just wanted to meet Ralphie. But Ralphie is kept in an undisclosed location at a nearby farm. And fun fact, they had to replace the last Ralphie. They only use female buffaloes because they're more docile and they're easier to control. The last Ralphie had to be retired when she was just like, I don't know, a young buffalo, because she kept growing. She grew too big and was too hard to control. So like this chick is out of balance right now. We need a younger, smaller Ralphie.
I remember watching a YouTube video of the tryouts that they have for the kids to run the buffalo. That was pretty cool.
There's really no training involved, and it's always funny when Ralphie gets like kind of out of control.
I mean, what are you gonna do?
You can't do anything. There's nothing, absolutely nothing you can do. Bevo is a cool mascot too. He's always like near the end zone, and once every couple of years, there'll be somebody that like, I don't know, a wide receiver that runs out of the back of the end zone and almost runs into its horns.
Remember when he tried to kill Uga a couple of years ago?
That was awesome.
That was sick.
I was gonna say Uga's a great one,
Yeah, Uga's good.
but their rivalry's badass. Like Bevo and Uga.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Bevo tried to kill him.
Yep.
What would have happened if Bevo had killed Uga before the game? Do they postpone the game?
Well, I think Uga would have, if Uga actually, because bulldogs were meant to back down bulls, like that was the original breeding purposes, and there are videos of bulldogs, English bulldogs, backing down bulls to this day. So we might be overestimating Bevo.
I don't know, man. Those horns, like it's so big.
I mean, backing down a bull is literally what they were bred to do.
Yeah, but still, I think if Bevo gets one shot, he becomes a shish kebab on Bevo's horns. I like the bird mascots too. I always like it when the birds fly away. That's always fun.
That happened. Air Force was playing. I think they were playing a bowl game against Georgia Tech, and they have a falcon, and the falcon just left.
Yeah, and you can't do anything to get the bird back. It's like the bird just decides to peace out.
I think he ended up coming back like late in the game.
Here's the video right now of Uga and Bevo. This was before, what game was it?
It was the Sugar Bowl
game.
a couple years ago.
They need to stop breeding flat-faced.
Oh,
The look on Uga's face,
Bevo
if you
almost
can
got him.
pause it like right when he sees, right there, back one frame.
Well, I don't think Uga was given a chance. I think he was pulled away too fast.
No, right here, he
Uga-
sees and
wait.
he's ready to dip.
Uga sees, Uga sees it coming in. He's like, I'm out. He didn't even make an attempt to bring it down. Also, shout out whoever that lady was on the sideline that dove out of the way. She was in more danger than the bulldog was. She almost got caught in the crossfire. Do they have an alternate angle here? Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was running through barriers.
That lady almost. Watch this lady.
Whose
She's-
idea
wait,
was this?
I don't think Bevo even saw the bulldog.
Yeah, that's what Bevo's going. Bevo's going after that bulldog.
But I don't think you can see.
Yeah, dude,
from
look,
that
the
angle.
horns go all the way down. Like he was aiming for Uga.
That's a 15-yard penalty.
I mean, think about it. Think about how bored people
Not
were.
in the SEC, just the Big 12.
Yeah.
Think about how bored people were before the internet, where they're just like, "Hey, this cow has big horns. Let's try to breed it with another cow with big horns and see how big we can make these horns."
That's what you would do.
Yeah.
You would definitely do that. Other great mascots. What other great live mascots do we have? The mule at Army is pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
I got to hang
I
out
didn't
with
know
him.
they had a live one.
Yeah, a few
Maybe
years
I
ago.
Well, they always steal them.
South
goat and the
Carolina's Gamecock, who you saw they were renaming, and the overwhelming winner in the poll was Cock Commander.
Yeah.
And it just
Did
came
they
out.
not?
They renamed him
Election rigged. Election rigged.
Let me find it. It was something stupid.
I'm gonna storm the capital of South Carolina.
It wasn't Cock Commander.
Yeah, that's election interference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's messed up. Like, he clearly won that vote. JMU has the Duke Dog. Everyone knows that.
First FBS game this weekend. You excited?
Can't wait. Was it Middle Tennessee?
Middle Tennessee.
Give me a scouting report. Right now, I think JMU is 6-point favorites.
Yeah, it was a touchdown or so.
Yeah. I think
MTSU used to be a pretty good program, but they're not that great anymore.
Big Blue, right?
They're the Blue Raiders.
Yeah. I think I like JMU. It's tough to come into Bridgeforth Stadium.
I mean, you have to win that first one as an FBS member.
I'll say this: if we
Favored.
lose that game, I think we're out of the college football playoff.
Probably it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
I
hard
also
to make
think
that one back.
they're disbarred from participating for the first 2 years, but
That's messed up.
it is stupid.
It was so dumb what they did. They took away the ability for all JMU teams to compete in like the College World Series, College Softball World Series, soccer playoffs.
Well, that was the what conference were they in before?
They were
The
in
Atlantic Sun.
No, they were in the Colonial.
Yeah,
CAA.
they did that.
Yeah.
But then also when you move to the FBS, your first like 2 or 3 years, you can't be in a bowl game. Which Georgia Southern moved to the FBS and I think went like 10-2 or 11-1 their first season and couldn't be in a bowl.
That's messed up. That's messed up.
The General is the new name of South Carolina's Gamecock mascot.
I don't like that.
Cock Command. Come on, they're all running around with
That beat out Cock Commander, Cluck Norris, Coop, Brewster, Cockadoodle-Doo, Kickin' Chicken, Marco Pollo, and Captain Cluck.
Okay, I like Brewster.
Brewster's cool.
I think Brewster is my second favorite name behind Cock Commander, but it's a distant second.
Oh, but Cockadoodle-Dude.
Terrible name.
Yeah.
Chicken McChicken Face.
I mean, they're all running around with Go Cox shirts on anyway. I mean, they really go after that at the stadium. So why not have the Cock Commander?
Sneaky, the most annoying place to play in college football that people don't talk about enough. They just play this horrific Gamecock sound the whole game. It's so
really?
Every third down, it's like... and they always talk about like USC playing their fight song every down and stuff like that. No, it's South Carolina.
Yeah, that sounds annoying. Don't they play Sandstorm there too, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's their big tradition.
Yeah.
So Big T, I'd like to say thank you for encouraging us to go to this Tennessee-Florida game because I had a great excuse. I was going to come out of retirement and play in a rugby game down in Texas. So they call it the Silverbacks team, which is anybody over the age of 34. And they get these games together where you have rolling subs, so you can sub yourself in and out whenever you want. And there was a 3-game tournament that I was going to play in that my old team, the Austin Huns, asked me to participate in. And I was going to come out of retirement, go down there. Oh, no, it's on September 24th. Can't make it. I have work that weekend.
Yeah.
So thank you.
You've got an arm to protect also.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. I'm going to get a second opinion on it in a couple days and see what's going on with the elbow.
You got to put your strap back on.
I do. That strap doesn't do shit, though. It's like...
I'm actually going to get you the chemicals.
Yeah, Bill, you keep talking about these research chemicals.
Yeah, I was going to see if you could do it naturally. Try to be natty, but I think we got to
get me the chemicals.
Some gear.
Get me the chemicals right now.
I saw this really interesting photo of a attendance record from ancient Egypt, and it also had in the hieroglyphics, if they weren't in attendance, it was workers. It gave them their excuses of why they couldn't make it, and then if it was an acceptable excuse. So a list of acceptable
I like
excuses.
that Billy spends his free time researching excuses. He's drained all the ones from like the modern world, so now he's going back to ancient excuses to try to find some secret sauce.
And it gives us a peer into.
Did you Google excuses?
No, I didn't Google excuses.
Excuses for missing work?
Yes, I was. It's part of my bit. So one of them was embalming his brother, so funeral rites.
Okay.
Embalming. The second one was sick, which is a classic one. Third one was brewing beer, which was really interesting. So you could skip work to go brew beer because apparently beer at that time was one of the only sources of liquid, because the water in that area, in that there was like bacteria. Mm-hmm. That's why like wine was used to disinfect water, but beer was for the working class. So brewing beer was a totally acceptable reason to not show up to work.
Wow. Times have changed though, Billy.
Yeah.
They've changed. Don't try using that one. What else was there? Was that it?
Yeah, those were the 3 that were disconcerted because everyone else it was like 10 people, 3 didn't show up.
What do you mean?
On the certain piece of tablet they found.
Okay,
a list of 10 people, 3 didn't show up.
Got it. Yeah, it's a pretty high ratio. 30% of your workforce gone. I can't wait for you guys to listen to the Coyote Peterson interview. He's a crazy dude. Crazy dude. And like I said in the intro, in case you skip the ads, don't skip the ads because I leave little Easter eggs in there for what you're going to expect. Billy and him have something cooking. Something very serious cooking. And I'm very excited about it. Mad Dog, talk to me about the Harry Styles Chicken McNugget gate. What's happening? What? Have you heard about that? Somebody threw Chicken McNuggets at Harry Styles.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yep, you just had to fill me in on what you're talking about. Yep. First of all, our guy won VMA's Album of the Year last night.
Oh, very impressive.
Good for him.
I didn't know that the VMAs were happening.
Yeah, that and Taylor Swift announced a new album, so I'm going to be annoying as fuck for the next 2 months.
I saw that meme.
Yeah. And so the Chicken McNugget thing. So this is at like a lot of popular people's concerts, but Harry's concerts, the way that his stage is set up, it's in the middle of MSG, so it's not, the stage and then the rest of the people. Like, everyone's around him, if you know what I mean. So people throw things on the stage all the time, like phones or, bras or flags, whatever. And people threw like chicken nuggets, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, why? Basically just like, why the fuck are you throwing chicken nuggets up there? Nothing too crazy. If you think about other things that have been thrown at him, like, that's actually kind of mild.
What else has been thrown at him?
People throw their phones like every night.
Why would you throw your phone at somebody?
To get his number?
No, to like.
But then he has your phone.
No,
People are like recording, like they start the recording and then they throw their phone, hoping he'll like.
That he'll like pick it up and be like, "Hello, I'm Harry," and then give it back to his security, and then they give it back to you.
Because he's definitely done it once. So once you do something once, it's like it's kind of like the thing. It's like if I sign an autograph for one person, I got to sign for 1,000.
Yeah.
So it's like.
So people do that all the time in the pit. They'll throw their phone up on stage and hope that he sees it or something, or like they'll be like, "Can you call my mom on it?" or like shit like that. A lot of times they throw flags.
Bras.
Kind of. I feel like that was more a One Direction thing, that they would throw bras and stuff. Now it's more.
That was an outdated assumption by me.
No, it wasn't outdated.
But no, I mean, chicks have
era.
been throwing bras at performers for a long time. We did a show, I think, at the House of Blues one time with Pup Punk, and Robbie brought his own bras on the stage and like put them on his microphone stand.
That's sick.
He's like, look at these bras.
Set a precedent.
It set a precedent asking for, but nobody threw bras. People just threw Bud Lights at him.
I also feel like the Pup Punk demographic, again, I love Pup Punk. I feel like the most of the demographic there, though, isn't really like a bra throwing type.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, just chicks with giant boobs that can't afford to get rid of a bra. They need the support for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've noticed that too about our concerts.
If you're looking for that, buy tickets to Pop Punk.
Yeah.
Yeah, come to Ocean's Calling.
Ocean's Calling Music
It's
Festival.
just a bunch of girls with big tits.
Yep, that's all it is. It's crazy. Like looking down the crowd as well. The funniest part about that concert was as people were throwing beers at Robbie. I don't know who the first one was, but when you're on stage, you don't really see the beers when they're in flight because all the lights are on you.
Right.
And so Robbie's almost getting hit by all these beers. And he gets really mad by the end of the show, like actually furious.
Oh, yeah.
And he tries to jump into the crowd to fight people. And he has to be escorted off stage. Like, I think his brother grabbed him and was like, Robbie, it's not worth it. Stay back. And Robbie gets backstage and then he gets up to go back on stage to try to fight somebody. It was wild. I've never seen Robbie get in mode like this.
What?
Yeah.
Robbie's going full Sid Vicious.
It was punk as fuck, man.
Well, and also it's like, if you're getting beer cans thrown at you, no matter what the situation is, like, that's annoying.
Yeah. They wouldn't do that with Coors Lights, though. We've never had a Coors Light thrown at us because people will finish their Coors Lights.
Right.
People throw out trash.
Yeah, exactly. So full beer cans coming at Robbie.
You talked about the stage setup for Harry. The stage setup at the VMAs might have been the worst I've ever seen. It was like a V. It was like a triangle, but inside of the triangle, there were two little triangles, and it looked like these people were trapped in there. I got to show you the picture of this.
Like concentric triangles?
Yeah, hold on. Let me see.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
It's like really small.
Did you see Young Gravy with Addison Rae's mom, too?
Yeah, so I don't
Big MILF guy.
That's got to
Yeah.
be fake. Oh,
Yeah,
if you're a
she
MILF
knew, right?
guy, check out the Barstool
Yeah.
store. There's a whole
There it
line of
is.
MILF merch. Man, I
Thank
Love
you.
Football. Man, I Love Fall. If you like Ben Mintz, please buy it or he's going to be executed.
I don't know. I feel bad for Addison. Imagine, like, PFT, if you were my dad.
Yes.
And you, like, got divorced from my mom and then showed up at the VMAs with, like, a much younger woman, I'd be so pissed at you.
Yeah. Yeah, who'd he show up with?
Young Gravy. Showed up with Addison Rae's mom.
Oh, they went together.
And were making out. They were making out on national television. And your daughter's the famous one.
Yeah, I didn't know that they actually went together. I thought
No.
he just saw her on the red carpet.
They came together and then just were making out. I can't even
All right, so
imagine how mad I'd be at my mom
I'm going to sound
or dad.
super old, but
Who's Young Gravy?
no, I know who Young Gravy is as of a couple weeks ago. Addison Rae, what do I know her from?
TikTok. Big TikToker.
Okay.
She's like the second in command to Charli D'Amelio type of thing.
What does she do?
That's a fantastic question, PFT.
She wiggles her nose.
She does dances
She's
that
a
other people
dancer.
make?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest. This TikTok fame thing, I
I think
it's probably
it's-
gonna be like
I think they're starting to fall off.
Yeah.
no, but like since I know, it's like I've met some of them. the way that they like rose to fame so quickly and so fast, and it's not like there was any sort of apparatus around it.
It's a scary.
It's the newest type of fame that's like so like instant. I mean, it's classical with the internet, but like we talk about child stars, but at least child stars had like agents, people around them, like people guiding them in some little respect, and they still ended up fucked up.
Right. And it's it can truly be 15 minutes of fame. And then people try to milk that to like, they're like, well, I had 2 viral videos and now I have 1 million followers. Like, now I'm going to drop out of college.
They got Corn Boy.
They got Corn Boy making cameos. Corn Boy, and Corn Boy is on, he's on Chipotle and
ads.
he's like 7.
Oh, that kid rocks.
I kind of like the Corn Boy.
Oh, he's the best.
So but he's getting taken advantage of, I think.
I think that there are some people that when they get famous so quickly, it helps if you have a discernible level of talent at something that you're better at than everybody else. But maybe I haven't been watching the right TikTokers, but a lot of them that I see, they find the algorithm. Maybe they're good looking kids. Maybe it's like the people that are on TikTok are watching. They're like, oh, this guy or this girl's cute. I'll watch her dance or watch him dance.
Yeah.
But they don't really have they're not outstanding dancers, right? They just kind of dance in a visually acceptable way.
Yeah. And they're hot. Well, they're hot.
Okay.
I mean, I'd have serious imposter syndrome if I was one of those guys, because I'd just be like, man, I'm just like one of these people that got on the app at the right time, like did the right moves, but like none of it's exceptional. Like it's not like you're like an athlete and you have some exceptional skill that you've trained for. It's kind of like,
and it's so saturated. Like there's a million of them.
I mean, like all those sorority girls were all whipping out like I've seen
the dances,
the sorority I've been trying to get it's been hard to organize, but I've been trying to get the Part of My Take guys to do like a semblance of a sorority TikTok.
I've seen you've been doing great.
Like all those people are, I mean, there's like so many sorority houses that are just whipping out crazy dance numbers.
Yeah, that's a new thing.
So
it is crazy though. I think TikTok is able to catapult people to a level of fame more quickly than anything else we've ever had. Like there's this girl who was rushing a sorority at Alabama.
Kylan.
And now she already has like, I think 1 million followers on TikTok, and like she's doing brand deals and stuff, and she's going to be mega rich.
She's doing the first pitch at the Reds game tonight.
Is she the one who goes, I hope you're having a great day,
not just a good day.
Yeah.
I think she had like she was like Miss Teen Ohio or something.
Yeah,
so,
she was Miss Teen Ohio.
People knew of her. But she just like I'm trying to look up how many followers she has right now.
I think she has like 500,000.
So like anything else, there will be some people that get famous on this that do have talent and will be very smart about using their TikTok fame and will become mega stars, not just like a flash in the pan. There will be some people that do that. There'll be a lot of people that don't though. A lot of people that are like, well, I'm going to be a content creator. And then they graduate from college or they drop out of college and they're like, what now?
Like the Charlie D'Amelios of the world, the Josh Richards, like all of them have turned their flash in the pan into like a business venture.
Yeah.
But like some of them just keep it like wiggle dicking.
Yeah.
And they're just like, I'm going to wiggle dick as long as you let me.
And then some people
wiggle dick till I die.
Yeah.
Actually, the smart way to do it would to be just like, I think the D'Amelios are doing this, but they've turned their whole family into the content where it's like Kardashian for TikTok.
They're the new Kardashians.
Right? But
then that's what like Addison Rae's mom is doing, like trying to, because like her dad went crazy. And
because her mom was with Young Gravy.
Well, yeah. And so
that's honestly a smart business move, I think, by her mom.
Yeah, but the whole thing is like, it's different because the D'Amelios parents are with the kids. Like Addison's mom is doing this without Addison. She's like just trying to become also famous on her own accord. Where it's like the D'Amelios kind of are just like, we want to protect our children and we're like helping them.
They're like kind of doing a Kardashian thing.
Yeah, they're trying to be like Kris Jenner. Where like Addison Rae's mom is just trying to get her own 15 minutes of fame too. Like it's not as much like supporting the daughter as it is like, I also want to be famous, which is a kind of odd move.
Yeah. Well, she's doing a good job.
Yeah. And she gets to make out with Young Gravy.
Is that like goals?
He's having a moment. He's having a White Boy of the Month moment right now.
Okay. Official White Boy of the Month award?
Goes to Young Gravy, I would say.
Has he dethroned Jack Harlow?
Jack Harlow was like in the beginning of the summer, I would say. When
dethroned?
The GLAM song was out. I would say dethroned, kind of. They're different.
I haven't seen Jack Harlow lately.
No. He's going to be, I'm going to Columbus this weekend for the Ohio State Notre Dame game, and he's apparently going to be the college football or college game day guest picker.
Jack Harlow is?
Yeah. Gonna try to find him.
I think people might look back on week 0 of 2022 as the day College Game Day died.
Why is that? Yeah.
I didn't watch it, but I saw a clip of Lee Corso that they should have. I can't believe they're still letting him do the show. He should have retired 3 or 4 years ago.
Were they in Ireland?
No, they just did it from here. I don't know if they were. I think they were just all remote. And then Desmond Howard had his college football playoff prediction as Michigan, Baylor, Texas A&M, and Pitt.
Okay.
Like, they're very clearly just going for, like,
shock value.
Yeah, and Corso is way too old to be on that show now, which is sad because he's so awesome.
Mm-hmm. He's good on the show when he has Kirk next to him. So when
he was off by himself.
Yeah, when Herbie's near him, because Herbie is like, they came up together on the show. Yeah. And they have like a deep relationship, and they've kind of grown together over the years. And Lee Corso obviously is not all there. I think that's fair to say. Like, he's not the same. He doesn't have the same mind that he used to have. But he's still good on TV occasionally. But he needs Herbie there to kind of like help him along sometimes when he gets lost in his own thoughts. So I think he kind of has. I think he's going to be doing the show for as long as he wants to, right? No one's going to fire Lee Corso.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I remember a time when that show was must watch from 9 to noon, and I don't think it's been that for a while, and I certainly don't I don't watch it anymore.
I feel like he's like Lee Corso's like the Pope or a Supreme Court justice where he has a job for life. He never has to retire.
Yeah.
And now people are mad online at him because Jack Harlow is the guest picker next week, and he's from Louisville, I guess, and they were. All these people from Ohio State are going to be at the game, and they're like, why didn't you pick one of these people?
Yeah, that happens all the time.
But that's not like a real...
I feel like ESPN, if they don't have anybody that they can get on the show, they just ask Kenny Chesney, right?
Oh, yeah. He's a fan of every college football team in the South.
It's ludicrous. So. We don't talk about that enough with Kenny Chesney. He is the most fair weather
He's supposed to be a Tennessee fan, but he's been a Virginia Tech fan at times. Several others. I mean, he'll wherever the wind's blowing.
Mm-hmm. The funniest was when they had Katy Perry on. She was just housing a corn dog.
She was entertaining though. She was like trying to get Bo Nix to go out with her and stuff. Like that was.
Yeah. Big T, is this Bo Nix's year? This is where you're going to see Bo Nix.
Not Bo. Did I say Bo Nix? Bo Wallace.
Yeah.
Who was the old Ole Miss.
I was going to say I don't think Bo Nix has been.
Yeah. No.
He hasn't been around that long.
Bo Wallace.
Bo Wallace was a battering ram.
Beat Alabama twice.
Yeah.
I think Bo Nix could be pretty good. Has he been named the starter yet?
I don't know.
At Oregon?
I love falling into the Bo Nix trap every year.
He's a good player.
Yeah.
You just don't. Yeah.
Sometimes.
He maybe needed a change of scenery.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think he could be. Now, I don't think Oregon's going to beat Georgia or anything like that, but I think they'll be a good team, and he could be a good quarterback.
So, Big T, give me your college football playoff, your Final Four.
I mean, Alabama's going to breeze through. They don't play Georgia in the regular season. I don't foresee them having a too much of a tough time. I think Georgia's going to take a step back. I don't think I think they'll win the East, but I think they're going to do that with 1, maybe 2 losses.
Who's starting for Georgia nowadays? Is it
Stetson Bennett's still their quarterback.
Is he still going to start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ohio State is going to be, I think, right there with Alabama. I think they'll be 2. I think Clemson has a bounce back year, and I mean, the ACC is a joke, so they'll cakewalk through that. And then the 4th team, it's kind of up in the air. I don't hate Baylor as much as I said Desmond Howard's thing was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Like, I think they could get through the Big 12. I don't think there's a sneaky one, though. I think USC could be pretty fucking good.
Ooh,
a lot of money.
There's not a ton of competition in the Pac-12. Like, I don't hate USC.
Putting a lot of stock in Caleb Williams.
I think Caleb Williams is a beast.
Okay. I was hoping that you'd say, actually, USC is a good, like, kind of dark horse team for that.
Yeah.
I want you to make a headline for us, though.
I think USC is a headline maker.
Is it?
I think so.
Okay.
Are they in the top 10 preseason?
You want a headline?
Yeah.
Penn State,
Okay.
dark horse.
We are.
Northeast is taking football back.
Okay. What about Pitt? No love for Pitt?
Oh, Pitt. I can't stand all this Pitt nonsense. They lost their Heisman finalist quarterback, their Biletnikoff winning receiver, and their offensive coordinator, and got a quarterback from USC who has regressed every year he's played, and people are still acting like they're I can't wait for us to kick their ass. I can't wait.
Save that one.
I
Save that
can't wait.
Was that one of your things?
One of what?
Your teed offs? Or
No.
Oh, no.
No.
So you have two still.
I do still have 2.
So
but
what-
yeah, week 2, we're gonna handle.
Where does Tennessee fit in this? Give me a final prediction. Tennessee's record this year.
I am on board with getting to 8 wins by any means necessary, but I see a path to 9.
Okay.
If I were to put my life on the line, I would say 8 wins, but I see a path to 9.
And Hendon Hooker, Heisman hopeful.
I think if you go 8-4, they're not going to have you as a finalist, but he threw 31 touchdowns and 3 picks last year, and I think he's going to be better. So,
Okay, let's go through the schedule. Ball State, that's a win.
yeah.
Pittsburgh, it's in Pitt.
Pitt is I labeled it my must win or we might be fucked forever game of the year.
Okay.
So we're going to win that game 2-0.
Okay. Akron, win.
Worst team in the FBS 3-0.
Excuse me.
This is where
Florida.
everything, in the famous words of John Ward, everything is riding on this football game. I think we do win it. And if we do,
And you're not biased.
I mean, I am, but I think I don't think Florida is going to be all that great.
4-0. LSU.
I think we lose to LSU. That's going to be a very tough environment.
It's at Death Valley.
Yeah, it's going to be a night game because they've never played a noon home game in the history of their program. So
You're saying SEC rigged.
yes.
It is better in Baton Rouge when it's later on.
Sure, if you're the home team.
Okay, 4-1. Alabama losing by 30.
No, we were very competitive with
In the
Alabama
first half.
last year. It was a 7-point game in the fourth quarter.
Tennessee Martin, that's a win.
That's a win, 5-2.
5-2. Kentucky.
This is the other very important game that I think a lot of Tennessee fans might
so
be
far, there have
overlooking.
been 3 games that you've said, our season hinges on this one game.
No. Pitt. The season only hinges on Pitt if we lose. If
Right.
we lose, we're in big trouble. But I think we're going to win relatively no problem. Florida, it hinges one way or the other. Kentucky is a game that I do think we win, but I think it's going to be a very tough game that some people are overlooking.
Okay, so that's 6.
That's 6.
At Georgia, loss.
Probably going to lose that game, although I think it'll be pretty competitive.
Missouri at home, that's a win.
Win.
So that's 7. At South Carolina.
Another
The
tricky
Rooster
game.
Noise.
Another tricky game. If Rattler is what they think he's going to, I think we lose one of Kentucky or South Carolina, and I think that could be kind of a trap-ish game.
Okay, and then Vandy, win.
Yeah, we'll beat the living shit
So
out of Vandy.
you've kind of talked yourself into 9 wins.
No, I said I see a path to 9. If you can find a way to beat Kentucky, South Carolina, and Florida,
Yeah.
you can get yourself to 9.
I mean, that'd be a pretty good bowl game for you guys.
Oh yeah. But I'm get to 8 wins. That is my overarching goal for this season. 8 wins, any means necessary.
And you're happy with 8 wins.
Yeah, I mean, 18 months ago, we were firing our coach at the end of January and admitting to dozens of level 1 NCAA violations and looked like we were going to be fucked forever. So get me to 8 wins in year 2 with a 5-star quarterback coming in, and I'm okay with that.
7 wins, panic button?
Not panic. I would like to win 8. I am meh at 7-5. I'm good at 8-4. I'm at 9-3. I am ecstatic.
Okay. All right. Let's get to 7 first, and then we can get to 8.
I don't see a way we don't get to 7. If we don't, we're in big trouble.
Okay.
Like going forward, but we should get to 7.
Okay. So Big T, what are you teed off about this week?
So there was one, and then one just happened a couple hours ago. So there's 2.
Okay.
I'll give you the one that happened today first. Fairly similar story to the Rachel Maddow one a couple weeks ago, but there was conflict here. I was walking to lunch, And have you seen that show with Billy Eichner, Billy on the Street?
Yeah.
They're filming that right in front of me. And they have, 20 people walking with the camera with all sorts of, like when he would get done filming with the person, they'd say, hey, can you sign this, that, and the other? And there's, all sorts of producers and PAs and all these people. And so I'm walking behind them. I can't get around them because they have the whole sidewalk blocked. So I'm kind of filming it to just like send to my girlfriend, like, here's a mildly interesting thing that happened to me today. And one of their, I guess he was a producer, I don't know what he was, gets up in my face and he goes, stop filming. And I said, why? He said, because I told you to stop filming.
Oh,
I said, you're on a public sidewalk. And he's just staring at, he didn't respond. I said, what reasonable expectation of privacy did you have on 24th Street in Manhattan?
Is this on film?
No. I had stopped. And at this point, I had filmed what I wanted to fit. It was literally the back of his head. I was just showing. I was going to send it to my girlfriend to like, and I didn't even care anymore. But now I was dug in. I was you're out in the middle of Manhattan in public. And he's just staring at me. I said, what reasonable expectation of privacy did you have out here? And he just stares at me, doesn't answer the question. And so then I just kind of kept walking. And I wanted to turn around and like film again.
Yeah.
But I was my goal was to get around them.
Yeah, I think at that point you'd won the confrontation. If you turn around and start filming again,
I thought about it.
Then you're being like you could say like, okay, Big T is going overboard here. He's spiking the football on him.
Nah.
I think you won. That was a clean win. That was a clean KO for Big T.
Yeah, I thought so as well.
Oh, that's like, because that's such a obnoxious move by them to like assume like that they want you not to film so nothing gets leaked, but it's like he totally can't film.
I could not possibly care less about like was I going to run to Twitter and be like, hey guys, I saw Billy on the street filming. If you want to see this 5-second clip of what he did, like, dude, get the fuck, quit taking yourself so seriously.
I love Billy on the street.
I think Big T is the best person in terms of public confrontations. Yeah. Because you keep your wits about you. You don't get too emotional. You just straight up tell him the facts.
I almost got emotional though because he was so ridiculous. Like so anyway. The second one was, this isn't something I'm mad about, but it's I guess you could call it a conspiracy theory that I have. I was in St. Louis, Missouri this weekend.
Ew. Oh, yeah. Why?
My dad's a Cardinals fan, so we went to the Braves Cardinals series.
How's your dad a Cardinals fan?
He's from St. Louis.
But you grew up and you were like, I will not root for this team.
Well, I grew up in Atlanta.
Yeah. Did he try to make you a Cardinals fan growing up?
No, I don't think so. Maybe when I was like a little kid, because he and my grandpa are. But I mean, yeah, I grew up in Atlanta going to Braves games, so we're there. And over the course of 2 games at Busch Stadium and walking around downtown, I think St. Louis is one of 2 things. It's either confirmation of the simulation theory, or it's some sort of government cover up for something similar to the Denver airport. So here's why I think it could be proof of the simulation.
I like this.
Everyone in St. Louis is at least 40 years old. There are no young people there at all. Every single person is old, which to me indicates, this guy was creating the simulation and there's one city left, like out in the middle of the country. So if I could just put all old people, whatever. Every business there is like an obscure, very generically named thing that only exists in Missouri. There are very few national brands there. Everything is like Central Bank or, things of that nature. And it all just seems very weird, very Truman Show-ish. Huh. The third was also along the business lines. There are like 25 tiny colleges that all somehow have enough money to all be title sponsors of the Cardinals. Like everything in Busch Stadium is sponsored by some university with an enrollment of 1,500 people. So I don't know what exactly is going on, but St. Louis is fake.
Okay.
I think it's like some sort of simulation.
What about the gates? I want to know what you think about the gates.
The gates.
The gates to the west.
The arch?
The arch?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another, I mean, it's just like a monument.
Spaceship?
I guess.
Handle?
Or it's like that thing Contact. Remember when they had to send the spaceship to outer space? That's kind of the vibes that I get from the Arch.
I actually had a simulation moment, like glitch in the Matrix type moment. I was walking to an apartment, and then halfway, I was walking from my truck. Then halfway there, I realized I forgot something in the truck, dog food. And then I went back, and on my way there originally, I saw this guy getting on a city bike, playing Led Zeppelin, and then taking the bike and pulling out. Blue shirt, tall guy, brown hair. So then I see him pull out, and I remember him distinctly because he was playing A Whole Lot of Love, Led Zeppelin. Then I come back, and I see him once again getting on a city bike and leaving the exact same place, playing Led Zeppelin. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Then I'm coming back from getting the dog food, and he's once again pulling out of the same city bike spot, playing Led Zeppelin, same guy 3 times. So this is what so then, like, in my mind, I could have gone, oh my God, like, this is all simulation. I've seen this 3 times, like 3 different, like,
It's probably just fucking with you.
3 NPCs just doing the same thing over and over. But what I realized, like, after the fact, is the guy was probably, you could kind of see he was a little weird. He was probably doing loops around the block to see which city bike pedaled and handled the best, and then hopped on new ones. So, like, there's always explanations when you think you're about to lose it. So, like, Big T, you're seeing population collapse with all the old people. That's why
I'm
there's
just
no
telling
young
you,
people.
there wasn't a high school kid in sight.
I'm in on this.
Nobody goes to high school there.
I'm in on this.
It's all old people.
St. Louis is fake.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Print the shirts.
I actually convinced someone that Finland was fake this weekend.
Well, it is fake.
Yeah.
It's a big Russian, Japanese fishing rights
It's a
thing.
micro state with just Helsinki in Sweden, but the land mass that's on the maps is just to disguise oil and fishing grounds.
Right. And they also have a great prime minister.
Yeah, that's just to make us think that it's like a bigger place that actually
They're getting their
exists.
name in
Oh,
the news. a
no,
little bit.
she got ruined. Did you see? Hillary ruined it.
Yeah, I saw that.
What happened?
Hillary posted a picture of her, like, dancing in a club, being like, oh, what's wrong with this?
Hillary got in on it?
Clinton?
So Hillary's
Oh my
ruined
God.
the Finland prime minister.
Was she tarps off?
Hillary's like, see, us hot party girls know how to have
Did you
fun.
see the show she and Chelsea Clinton are doing on Apple TV?
I did not know. I missed that
Oh,
one.
it's going to be the greatest show ever. They go out on the road and they talk to gutsy women.
Can't
So,
wait.
yeah. No, it's going to top the charts.
I
Can't
think they
wait.
should just make the Clinton family like the Kardashian family, and just like we see all the drama play out on TV. I think people would be more accepting.
Everything is the Kardashians.
Yeah,
at
but
this
like-
point.
Well, they are the Kardashians, except instead of their friend being O.J. Simpson, it was Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell.
But yeah, see, include those parts in the TV show, like, ooh, putting a hit out on somebody. Like, that'd be a good TV show.
That'd be a great TV show. You should write that.
I know. House of Cards.
Yeah, write it about the Clintons. I like those teed offs though. I'm on board.
Mm.
St. Louis, I've never been there. Probably never going to go there.
Odd
it's
vibe.
Fake. It's fake.
Why
And
was
I'd
in
been
St.
many
Louis?
times before, but it just hit me on this trip that something's off.
Have you ever had St. Louis style pizza?
Yeah, so I loved it as a kid because I could only get it like once a year when we went to our grandparents' house. And so it was like, cool, like, oh, emos, like, it's great. And then the last couple times, I didn't even get it this time, but when I had it as an adult, I was like, this is like actually really bad.
It's like cracker crust, right? It's like a super thin crust.
And the cheese is different. It's provolone cheese instead of mozzarella.
in like a sweet ketchup, like really sweet ketchup tomato sauce.
It's not good.
Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan. If anybody out there is from St. Louis and you want to prove that you're actually real, let Big T know.
I believe the people are real. They're just
But no young people. You're saying if you're
Right.
a young person in St. Louis, talk to us about how it is.
right.
I texted Riggs, but he didn't answer yet.
Is he from there?
Must be a lot of MILF guys in St. Louis. They're all 40.
Or there's a lot of milfs.
No, but that's actually crazy about confirmation bias, because like if you don't know, like the only people who has confirmation bias that the Earth is truly round is anyone who's gone to space, or our friend that we had on the show who walked across Antarctica.
Yep.
So Crazy.
That's wild stuff. I had a glitch in the Matrix moment myself a couple weeks ago. I don't think I brought it up on this show, but I was down the shore in Asbury Park, and I was walking to dinner, and in front of me on the sidewalk, this guy and this girl step off the street on the sidewalk. They're walking the same direction, so I'm behind them. They're walking in front of me about, 10 feet, pretty close. And the girl, I was not intentionally looking, but I couldn't help because the girl had on a skirt that didn't cover her ass at all.
I don't think that's a bong.
It was shocking. Like both ass cheeks hanging completely out, no underwear.
What?
Yes, it was wild. So
bare ass.
I have no idea what's going on. I'm like, what's happening here? Then we get to the next street after about maybe only 10 seconds of me being behind this couple. And there's this lady getting out of this car with her friend. And the lady steps out of her car and she's not wearing any pants at all. She has underwear on, but she's not wearing any pants at all. And then she just puts on pants in the middle of the street. And I was like, why are there so many asses out right now?
Are you sure that wasn't she was wearing like a bathing suit bottom and then she was
lot
putting
of
on
bathing
pants?
No. She was putting on like a dress. Like a dress over top of her.
It could have been a cover up.
Or
I don't know.
You could tell it was not.
It was
bathing
within
suit.
10 seconds though where I saw just two
bare
asses.
asses.
Two asses out
I'm
in
not
nature.
gonna bonk you for that. That's
Then the very next weekend I was at the beach and there was this lady that stood up and she just straight up took her bathing suit off, her bathing suit bottom off, and put a different one on.
in front of you.
She was fully nude. No, but it was a crowded beach. It wasn't in front of me. She was like 2 or 3 blankets over.
So in front of you, basically.
Kind of, yeah. Well, in front of a lot of people.
Close enough.
A lot of people were right by her, and she just had no shame taking her bathing suit bottom on and putting a different one on.
So you saw the whole thing.
Chicks aren't wearing pants these days.
So let's talk
That's the
about
thing.
female privilege.
Chicks are not wearing pants. I don't know what's going on.
Imagine if you did that.
Jail. Honestly, like
I mean, you get charged with public nudity.
I did think about that. Like if I did something, and there's a difference between guys doing it and girls doing it.
I was joking.
Because we're more visible in certain areas. But I would be in jail. I would be in prison. And this lady, everybody was just like, oh, just another day at the beach.
Damn.
So girls, keep your pants on out there.
Okay.
I don't know what's happening. We're going to figure out what the hell is going on. Billy, you want to get into some animal facts? Talk about the most deadly, painful animals?
Yeah, so we're about to go into an interview with Coyote Peterson. He's probably this generation's Steve Irwin, and you may be like, that's a disgrace to Steve Irwin's name, but the way he enthralls younger listeners, watchers, and the kids of today, I think is very reminiscent of how the crocodile hunter, Jeff Corwin, who's a name that probably doesn't get as much love as Steve Irwin, but he was still a goat naturalist, goat on the TV. Like I'd be like, MJ Kobe, I'd say Steve Irwin, Jeff Corwin, both really, great on the Jeff Corwin Experience was an amazing show.
I think it's shocking that Coyote is from Ohio and he became like a wildlife expert.
Well,
instead of a serial killer.
Yeah, I mean, the Northeast and Ohio's in that same range that I understand a lot of the animals he grew up with because they're the same ones that I grew up with. Like common snapping turtles I've been bit by a common snapping turtle. They are dinosaurs. Like he explained it perfectly. Like they are some of the coolest animals ever. But growing up with the frogs and everything, like it's the same fauna basically. A little bit different, but getting into our theme of the day, the most painful animals.
Let's actually go around the room real quick. What's the most painful thing you guys have been bitten or stung by? Start with Avery.
I don't know because I guess a bee, because I don't think there's ever really anything like, I think like worse than a bee sting is like if you're in the ocean, you get like pinched by a crab, like an unexpected, hard pinch. And that's happened before, but nothing crazy like that.
Bees are not fun, especially if you're a kid. You have the shock of being stung by a bee.
Yeah.
The first time I got stung by a honeybee, I was more concerned with it didn't hurt that much, but I panicked because, oh shit, I just got stung by a bee. Right. I was like 7 years old at the time. So it was, I I had a little bit of panic. The stinger was still like stuck in my cheek.
Yep.
Where'd you get stung?
I got stung in the arm, like trying to swat it, being like a dumb kid, just trying to like swat it away, and then it just lands on your arm and just zaps you.
Yeah, the great thing though, when you do get stung by a honeybee, you know that you killed the bee.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because their stinger comes out and all their guts come out.
But
with it.
hornets are the worst.
You ever been stung by one?
Oh yeah, my cousin Dale accidentally stumbled upon a hornet's nest, and Dale came running down the hill, and he was getting swarmed by them, and he was like, "I've been stung by a bee," and then he came up to me, and then I realized they were all swarming him. So then I got hit with some collateral, but he was getting it the worst, and then we were like really young, and then I ran up the stairs and was like, "Mom, Dad, Dale's getting stung," and then we like came out, put a towel over him. It was a whole big ordeal.
Is that what you're supposed to do? Just throw a towel over him?
I don't know.
Keep him in the dark like they have a concussion?
Yeah, well, it was,
allegedly.
When you're getting swarmed by bees, you don't really know what to do. I actually probably should look that up. But we were just whipping them with the towel.
Yeah, I imagine you got stung by several things as a kid.
I did. Weird centipede once. Not centipede, millipede. No, centipede, yeah. Like, you know those ones that run across the floor?
Yeah.
Been bit by those before. I've been bit by snapping turtle. I've been bit by garter snake, corn snake. Any other snakes? No, garter snake and a corn snake.
Did you deserve those?
Was I? Yeah, garter snake I deserved. Corn snake I was feeding it. African bullfrog been bit by. Only frog with teeth. That one actually took a chunk out of my finger. Snapping turtle was a sub juvenile, probably around yay big, not like a really.
You're making
big
the
one.
size of about a dinner plate right now.
Yeah, got me right on my fleshy part of my forearm. What else? I've been bit by fish. Kind of indifferent.
A couple snakes though. Most people I think go through life without ever getting bit by one.
Well, yeah. Well, I'll go pick up a garter snake. If I know a snake isn't venomous, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna fuck with this snake.
Yeah.
Yeah. But lizards, a bunch of animals. When you're like down south catching animals,
Of course. Who amongst us hasn't gone anal catching?
If you ever go to Florida as a kid, and
You're a big
see
anal
there's
guy.
just tons of little green lizards running around everywhere. You're gonna try to catch all of them.
Huge anal guy, Billy.
Annals.
Are you more of a MILF guy or an anal guy?
Oh no, I just fucking realized.
Yeah,
A green anal.
green anal. I've been stung by hornets before. That sucks. One time I got stung by a hornet on my knee and on the back of my head at the same time. And my mom didn't know about bees at the time or hornets. So she was concerned that I still had a stinger in my knee. And so she made me lay down and she started digging into my knee with she took a sewing needle and then she put a flame on it to sterilize it. She was trying to dig the stinger out.
Oh, remember when you got really bad splinters?
Yep.
And they did that tactic, and they're like, "We gotta soak your foot, salt water, gets all like," and then they get the hot needle out and they're cutting through your. That was.
It's like Talladega Nights, and he's like, "Got to cut around the meat."
Yeah.
She's just like cutting your leg off.
Yeah, no, I have a scar on the inside of my knee right here from when my mom tried to get a stinger out that doesn't exist because hornets don't leave their stingers in you. But she didn't know that, so she was like, "I'm gonna find the stinger. It must be really far in there." So it was like 30 minutes of her performing minor surgery on my knee. That was bad.
I got stung by a cicada.
What's that, Billy?
I got killed. Did I say?
Yeah.
I got stung by a cicada killer hornet that lived in the. It was. Then I tried to light its nest on fire with gasoline.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like you deserve that.
Yeah. What else have I been stung? I've been bitten by a rat and a mouse.
Like a New York rat?
No, a adult rat. I was helping feeding someone's python.
Please make a supercut of just the different
I
animals
got it.
that
Yeah.
Billy says that he's been bitten or
trying to
stung
think.
by.
Bearded dragon. What else?
Dogs?
Yes, I haven't bit by a dog.
Has Whitey ever bitten you?
No,
Good dog.
it was another dog.
I got bit by a dog named Moose one time when I was in Texas. I was selling used dogs at the time. And Moose was a great dog when he was around people, but he did not get along with any other dog. He hated other dogs, and other dogs hated him. they'd see Moose coming, they'd start a fight with him, and then Moose would respond in kind. And then one time this German Shepherd got out of its pen and started fighting with Moose, and I stepped in between them, which you are not supposed to do. And then Moose, trying to bite the German Shepherd, bit through my jeans entirely, and I started bleeding everywhere. I still love Moose. And then you were supposed to file a report if you got bit by any dogs, but I knew what that
you didn't
meant.
Snitch.
I knew what it meant, that if you filed a report,
It goes on their record.
they were going to euthanize the dog because we had so many dogs we were trying to get adopted. And so I kept that one in between Moose and myself.
I think it's a 3-strike policy in New York.
Is it?
Yeah,
That's a lot of strikes for dog bites.
I think it's on other dogs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But on humans, it's probably just like one bad bite. They have to put it down.
Well, I think it depends if it's like a random guard situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Save Moose's life.
the dog that bit me was in a dog fight as well.
So no cats.
Oh. No cats. Hedgehog bit me. That was a little bit of a different story. I get bit a lot while trying to feed animals. Because tongs are for pussies.
Have you thought about adjusting your feeding strategy?
Yeah, it's usually in the beginning process because I want to teach all the animals to eat out of my hand, like the hedgehog. But like sometimes they're all little nips. They're like investigative bites. Trying to think of anything that's more like Coyote Peterson that's like dangerous.
The worst bites are mosquito bites. They're so inconvenient.
Yeah, they're annoying.
They're so annoying. They itch.
Horse flies.
Those are bad. Yeah.
Those suck. You ever do swim team and for some reason they're like attracted to the chlorine?
Yeah, like growing up.
And they just get you.
And they're gross.
One time I had a false start I used to swim during the summers. I quit to play basketball, but I probably should have kept going with swimming. It might have been my best sport. But I got bit during a meet on my ass by a horsefly and it made me false start. Because you're on the block and they're like swimmers.
You can't ignore it. Yeah, it's so painful.
And I'm on the block and I just get stung in my ass and I freaking leap. Like they said I did the farthest dive I've ever done after getting bit in the ass by a horsefly. It was comical, but
are you allowed to do that to a swimmer? Like if you want them to get off to a great start, like have the horsefly and a pair of tongs and just hold it up to your ass right when the gun goes off?
Yeah, I mean, horsefly stings suck. What else?
Big T, you ever been bit by anything?
Scabies.
I don't think anything ever worse than a bee because I intentionally do not put myself in situations where things can bite or sting me.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the discrepancy here, and Billy has a million bites from a million different animals. Most people, I think, go through life getting stung by bees occasionally.
I'll tell you, the worst thing that's probably happened to me, at least in the years I've lived here, is the homeless guy that reached out and whacked me with a crutch.
Yeah, that counts as a bite.
I've been bitten by a human.
That didn't feel good.
I did get bit in elementary school in a fight.
Did you win?
Well, once he bit me, it was kind of more of like this isn't like, now it's getting weird.
Yeah. If you're a biter, a line has been crossed.
If you're like wrestling with a kid because like he took something from you and then he just starts biting you, then you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, it's not worth it.
Yeah. I always love it when there's a bite that happens in sports and then the person freaks out. And like, because you realize, especially in soccer with Suarez, when he used to bite people, it would a soccer player's first inclination when something remotely painful happens to them is to fall on the ground and roll around.
Yeah.
But when you get bitten by somebody, you just freak out. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? This isn't part of the game.
You could, humans just don't really bite. Like, have you guys seen The Northman?
No.
It was this crazy Viking movie, but this dude goes berserker. He raids a village and he's going nuts. And then like the end part of the fight scene is he just bites out a guy's windpipe.
That's pretty.
And just rips it out.
That's pretty metal.
And then he howls.
We don't really bite anymore.
And I was
You're
like,
right.
holy fuck.
What about you, Mad Dog?
When I was really little,
You got pooped on.
I did get pooped on by a horse, which is tough.
Oh, I've been bit by a horse. It was a nip. I have been bit by a horse. That was actually recently.
Oh, yeah.
How long has it been since your last bite?
month.
July 4th.
Yep.
July 5th. Yeah, probably July 6th.
July 4th, 5th, and 6th?
No, I was like, that was the week it was, so it was probably on July 6th.
What was it?
It was a little nip.
Of a horse?
I was feeding another horse oat cakes, and then another horse got pissed that I wasn't feeding him oat cakes, and he was like he was a little nasty, and he got me.
Are there any animals that you would like to get bit by that you haven't got bit by yet?
A shark. We've been trying to get bit by a shark all summer.
Yeah, that's true.
I was talking.
Me?
Well, I was thinking about it. I read about this. There's been a bait ban in the Chesapeake Bay. I don't know if you know about this, but they've stopped fishing for a certain type of fish in the Chesapeake Bay. They like limited fishing on it, and it's a bait fish. And because of that, there's been a population boom up the East Coast, which has caused a large amount. And those bait fish have been going closer to shore in New Jersey, Long Island,
So the
Hamptons
sharks
area.
have been heading up there.
So yeah, but they're small sharks.
Okay.
And there's been like a spike in bites, but they're all non-fatal, small bites. I know Coyote Peterson said that no shark bites,
non-fatal.
no shark bites, like not a serious bite.
Right.
But I was thinking about like, how great would it be for content to get bit by a shark?
But like you are like that's
Just like on the fleshy part, just like on like
dude, that's like so
thighs.
That's so dumb.
But it's a 2.5 foot shark.
You
And the
still get a
shark's mouth.
huge-
The shark's mouth is probably like
you-
yay big.
do you realize that your skin doesn't like
That's the
regenerate like a
point.
lizard tail?
That's the point. Then you have the scar.
Billy, you're salaried, right? So you're getting paid the same whether you do or do not get bitten by a shark.
Well, I like to do short contracts because then like it's like
Totally, yeah, re-up every year.
it's
yeah.
like a gamble. It's like it's all or nothing.
It's
You're either
betting on
going up
himself.
or you're
Yep.
down.
I just don't think I don't care if it's 2.5 foot shark or a 20.5 foot shark. I do not think
A
it
little
is
shark.
Billy, I don't think it's worth it to get bit by a shark.
PFT, back me up here. You were
PFT,
you were
back
sitting
me
in the
up here.
waves with me.
It would
being
be
like,
pretty
it'd be
awesome
pretty
to get
awesome.
bit by a small shark.
Would you want to get bit by a
And
shark?
then you have the jaw.
Well, like imagine how
Mark.
much that tweet would get liked. Like yeah,
But again,
dude.
Big T's right. You don't get money from that.
No.
but then
but-
you also have this story.
It would be sick to get bit by a tiny shark, like a reef shark, and just have it leave its
Little
teeth
sand
impressions.
I'm thinking in my head, Billy gets bit by a shark and let's just call it the meaty part of his thigh. There's like a 6 to 12 inch gap in where your thigh used to be.
No,
yeah, and
no,
also
no, no, no.
you've got some very significant veins and
Nerves
arteries.
yeah.
No, but the
You can
flesh,
bleed out if
Well,
you
this
get-
is why you
if
do
you get bit in the
squats.
thigh.
This is why you do squats to
Oh.
defend those arteries,
Mhm.
so you can get bit by a shark.
I would allow that to happen if I were in charge of this. If there were a guarantee, it would more just be like a scar
Not-
rather than a chunk of flesh exiting you forever.
Not every shark bite takes a chunk.
An
Some of them are
exploratory bite.
exploratory bites, and that's what most of these bites have been.
It's more of like a nibble to see what you're up
like,
to.
can I eat this? That's what
Yeah.
most of the shark bites are.
Okay.
And the reason why great whites have the most fatalities with their
It's because
exploratory
they don't
bites,
do a nibs.
it's because it's like they're a much larger shark.
They're an all or nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like why pit bulls and chihuahuas bite people at the same rate. It's
Chihuahuas
just-
bite more for
yeah,
sure.
it's just that the chihuahua's not leaving any damage.
So you want to get bit by the chihuahua of sharks, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Still
would
counts.
too. I would too. It would be cool. It'd be a cool scar to have.
But I still think that hurts so bad.
It would definitely hurt for a little bit, but I think it would be worth it if it was a small shark.
I mean, how many times are you like you know when you wake up like so many people just have bruises after a weekend that are just random.
That is just not the same.
Yeah, but like shark bite.
Also, how are you luring a shark into biting you?
I really I rather get a shark bite like that than like fall through a glass coffee table.
What?
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
sure. Yeah, I mean, falling through a glass coffee table would be pretty bad.
Yeah.
I've been stung by jellyfish.
Did you have to pee on it?
We talked about that. That's like one of my biggest fears.
Yeah,
It's jellyfish.
jellyfish are. Yeah, you can pee on it. Vinegar helps though. Vinegar's better, and I think hot water is even better than that. But you don't.
Oh,
always
that would
have
hurt
that.
so bad.
I think I got half-ass stung like you know when you're in the surf and then just like something wipes against you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's the Portuguese man o' war. Have you guys heard of that?
Is that the ones you were talking about this weekend?
Yeah, so they're not actually jellyfish. They're fucking crazy. Jellyfish are aliens.
Yep.
They freak me out. But a Portuguese man o' war, its tentacles can get up to like 100 feet long. It's crazy. So it floats on the surface. So you have the little top of the man of war that pokes out of the water, and then the tentacles can go down up to 100 feet. And if you get like fully wrapped around by a giant one, you can die. It's very rare that they'll kill somebody, but they're not actually jellyfish because they're two, maybe even more than two, but definitely two separate organisms that work together as one. So the sail part that sticks out of the water that catches the wind and catches the tides, that part is completely different from the part that hangs down that has the tentacles. They just kind of form a union together, and the tentacles go hunting to feed the top part, the sail, and the sail acts as like the motor that drags the tentacles around. So it's like a mutually beneficial relationship that they have. That's fucking crazy, but they have killed people before, and there are certain types of fish that live inside of them. So there are some fish that are like immune to the stings, and they live inside feasting on some of the stuff that the Portuguese man-o-war catches. But they're awesome looking. Go look up some videos of Portuguese man-o-wars.
I typed it in on YouTube, and the first video that came up, Brave Wilderness stung by a man-o-war jellyfish.
Coyote got stung by one?
No, the guy, I think it's the guy Mark, who's also on his channel.
Wait, I thought you said you can't get stung by it, though.
But I think
No,
he
you can.
he used a smaller one. So there's like bigger ones that if they wrap around you, they kill you. But like the smaller ones that kind of get like washed up on the beach, you can get stung by them.
They're really cool. I love the color of them. Seeing them on the beach, these purple. They look like there's like a certain aesthetic in Halo 3 that looks a lot like the small man-o-war, and I always love that.
So in Hollywood, Florida, on February 11th, 2018, 204 people got stung by Portuguese man-o-wars.
In one day?
Yeah, in one town.
Damn.
Oh, Jesus.
So jellyfish populations have been going through the roof because of climate change.
Why? Do they like warm water?
Yeah, the warm water, more stagnant water, like something about the climate has been like creating tons of jellyfish, like an over amount, because a lot of the fish that eat jellyfish aren't surviving. So there's like a biome collapse type thing, but we might end up eating jellyfish.
I've eaten
with the
jellyfish
insects.
before.
On purpose?
Yeah.
How?
It's served chilled, and they slice it, and it's kind of like sushi. So you have it with like a soy sauce or ginger or wasabi.
Moon jelly?
I don't know if it was a moon jelly, but I had it one time, and it was not, I didn't love it. I wouldn't have it again. But I was just getting revenge from when I got stung by jellyfish earlier. I think the pee thing is like an urban legend. I think pee helps.
I think there's definitely a neutralization.
I think pee helps.
Like in the sterilization, right?
It's better than not peeing on it. But if you have vinegar, you should put vinegar on there instead.
Well, also, you said hot water, and I'm going to say it's kind of gross. Isn't pee usually like kind of hot?
Yeah. So I think that helps too. And I think that with the pee, maybe more than what's in the ingredients in your own pee is the fact that like when you get stung by a jellyfish, sometimes it leaves traces of its tentacles on your body.
Okay.
And so when you pee on it, you might wash some of that away.
Okay.
So I think that might help. But if you get stung by a jellyfish and you have vinegar, use that instead. Or you can also pee on it because it's kind of fun. All right. So Billy, I got you off track. Talk to me about some painful animals.
So there was a scientist called Schmidt, and Schmidt developed the Schmidt Insect Sting Pain Index, which is like a Richter scale of how painful a bite is. So basically, this scientist, before Coyote Peterson was, this was years ago, developed this scale of various different insects, and he let them all sting him. And some of these
was this on video?
Not on video, so we don't even know if it happened.
Okay.
So the top of his list is the bullet ant. And the bullet ant, so he said it was the worst. It's an ant that lives in South American rainforests and delivers an intense venomous sting. The immediate pain lasts anywhere from 12 to 24 hours in full force. Luckily, you won't find this type of ant hiding in your backyard. Yeah, so he just let a bunch of these animals sting him. I know we talked about bee stings, but in relation, the honeybee is on... So the scale goes 1 through 4, and the bee, like your regular bee stings, a 1, and it gets successively worse. The Asiatic honeybee is a 3, And the Asian giant hornet is also a 3. So a lot of these things are on a scale of animals we will never encounter. But it's interesting that someone actually went out there and figured out which hurts the most, which hurts the least. So Justin Schmidt, born in 1947, figured it all out, and he did this all at the Carl Hayden Bee Research Center in Arizona. It's an interesting list. A lot of these animals, like, hopefully you'll never encounter. They live in the corners of the world with some of the most dangerous predators that they need the giant stings to keep away. But some of them, such as the red harvester ant, are some of the closer ones that are some of the like red ants that come out there in the Southwest United States. Some pretty dangerous stuff. But when I was researching painful, I know we're talking about animals, but we might go over to flora for a second. One of the most painful things in the world to encounter is the gimpy gimpy. Now, the gimpy gimpy fascinated me because, in World War II lore, and I think there's a part of it in the Pacific on HBO, there was a type of plant that, you're in a foreign land, you're in the middle of the jungle, you go to the bathroom, go number 2, and you need some toilet paper. Well, let's just use that leaf. And you end up using a leaf that is the most painful stinging plant on the planet. And you put it in your nether regions. And unfortunately for one officer, according to urban legend, ended up killing himself because of how painful the plant was after wiping his ass with it. I mean, this thing terrifies me. So the gimpy gimpy got its name for the plant gimpy, a gimpy stinger in the giant stinging tree. This plant has the dubious honor of arguably being the most painful plant in the world. One ex-serviceman, Cyril Bromley, fell into one of the plants during World War II training exercises and ended up strapped to a hospital bed, as mad as a cut snake. Bromley also told the story of an officer who unknowingly used the leaf as toilet paper who ended up shooting himself. Botanist Ernie Ryder was whacked in the face, arms, and chest in 1963, and it wasn't until 1965 that he was finally free of the pain. That's nuts.
Jesus.
Like 2 years of pain. And that's just like, when we talk about everything in Australia is trying to kill you.
Even the plants.
Yeah, everything in Australia is trying to kill you. So it has these micro stinging hairs that embed into your skin, and they're so tiny that you can't even extract them. So even if you tried, you'd have to get like super microscopic tweezers to pull these things out of your skin. And when they embed in your skin, there's so many of them. The process is, at that point, I would just cut the skin off. That's like, I'm trying to think of like, what would you do?
Yeah.
Like take a grater and just grate it off.
But don't you think it would still like spread maybe? Like you're spreading it to other parts by doing that?
I know, but the poison's in you, but the stingers keep injecting the poison over time. So I'm just thinking, get the stingers off. Just like take a peeler that you use on like a carrot. Just get your skin off. That's what I would do.
That's brutal. Yeah, I mean, using that as toilet paper, that's an all-time mistake.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do much worse than that. I remember watching it wasn't Jackass, it was Wild Boys. It was Steve-O and Chris Pontius. I think they did the bullet ant glove, where they have bullet ants inside of a glove. It's a ritual that they do in Brazil, where like a boy becomes a man after doing this ritual, and he has to put his hand in a glove filled with bullet ants that just bite or sting him. And then it's just throbbing pain for about 24 hours. Jeez. And that's when you become a man. So you just put your hands in these giant mittens, and then you just have to sit there and take it and try not to move.
Can they choose to not become men? Can they just, I'm good, I'll just be a boy forever?
That's what I would do.
That's the beauty of Western society.
Good point, Billy. I think it would be, you're like Peter Pan. I don't want to grow up.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these, I'm just going to name some of these creatures because they just sound like they hurt. The tarantula hawk, the paper wasp, the yellow jacket wasp, the bald-faced hornet. I mean, some of these sound so terrifying, but Coyote Peterson, if you've seen some of his videos, I think, but he claims that, we're going to get to this part, but he claims that Schmidt has probably had more venoms in him. But I think by far Coyote Peterson has the most venoms, poisons ever been injected into.
You might be the
man.
most bitten person, though. You might have gotten bitten by more things than he has.
Oh no, he's definitely gotten bitten more than me.
Well, he's got stung by a lot, right?
Yeah.
There's also this jellyfish in Australia called the irukandji. And it's a tiny, tiny little jellyfish. It's like the size of your thumbnail. And if that stings you, you can die from it. You can also, it will usually last for a couple days of just having excruciating pain all over your body. So there are certain beaches that you're not allowed to swim in Australia. They try to put up these nets to keep the jellyfish out, but they're so small that they can get through the nets. So there are certain beaches, though, where just people don't go because these tiny little bastards will sting the hell out of you.
You know what's sneaky, very painful? Platypus. So the platypus have a little stinger so platypuses are poisonous.
Yeah.
They have a spur in their back legs that can deliver a sting that can cause excruciating pain. And the conventional painkillers don't work on it either. So they only sting when provoked, and they primarily use their venomous spurs as a defense against rival males. So it's usually territorial wars between platypuses. But their sting, like, it's a very unique type of poison. One, because like, what the fuck is a platypus? It's I think it's echinoderm. It's like something that isn't even a mammal, isn't even a marsupial. We don't even know if it's like a bird, but it's just a weird ass animal. Like, it looks like a beaver duck. It's the best way to explain it. But like, mammals don't usually have poisons at all. Birds certainly don't.
Yeah, the platypus, that might be my favorite animal.
It's just such a fucked up thing.
It's just a mix-up of everything.
It's just like, when God created, quote unquote, when God created the fucking platypus, like, what the fuck was it doing?
He was drunk.
Yeah.
He just sewed a bunch of different
he was
pieces
high.
together. Didn't they used to think that platypuses didn't exist, that it was like a taxidermy prank?
Yeah.
Where they would sew like a duck bill onto like a beaver.
Yeah.
And then duck feet onto its bottom, and then beaver tail on the back.
Like, what the fuck is this, Captain Cook?
Yeah. Going back to the irukandji real quick, I didn't know this. I just pulled this up about those tiny little jellyfish. Mm-hmm. They've got awful, awful symptoms, and the pain can last a lot longer than I initially say. It can last for weeks, and you usually have to go to the hospital when you get it. So you get not only burning on the skin and face, but you want to puke. You get restless. You sweat. You puke. Your heart rate increases, your blood pressure goes through the roof, and then maybe the worst of all, it fucks with your brain. So you get a psychological effect from it, where you get this overwhelming sense of impending doom, which also might just be a byproduct of the pain a little bit, but you get the feeling you truly believe that you're going to die. You feel like you're dying when you're on it.
Jesus.
Yeah, little bastards those guys are.
Black Widow's a classic, super painful bite. I mean, I don't think we have to explain much about that. The thing is that you don't know when it bites you.
Yeah.
And then an hour later, it blows up. I got bit by a spider over the 4th of July as well, and I still have the fang marks in my hand. I was scared. It might have been
Where were you?
I was in Montana, and it blew up like a giant, like it blew up like a softball.
Were you handling the spider?
No, I wasn't. I had no idea where it came from.
So did you see the spider?
Nope.
It was just later you got it.
I still have the pinpricks.
Dude, you get bit by so many things. You need to start making some lifestyle adjustments, I think, Billy.
Nah.
What's the most painful thing that you've gotten bit or stung by?
The worst was scabies. Not because of the pain, but because they itched and wouldn't go away. And it was like months of trying to get rid of them that just like culminated in like larger suffering over a longer time.
Yeah. Do you think an alligator bite hurts?
Yeah.
I think probably.
I have the most painful animal, so I've been doing some research. I'll whip it out at the end because this is terrible.
Okay.
Like probably the most pain you could go through.
Okay. So what else do we have on the list here?
Stingrays.
Yeah.
Killed Steve everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You should do the stingray shuffle when you're in the water.
What's that mean?
It means that because stingrays only sting you if you step on them. And so the best way to disturb a stingray is if you're like moving your feet side to side, because then you kind of kick up underneath them and they'll swim away.
Instead of stepping directly on it.
But if you step on them, they just send their giant ass barbs straight up into your leg.
See, I thought when Steve Irwin died, though, he was swimming and it came up. Or am I misled?
He was swimming behind it. From what I read, he was swimming behind it, and no one really knew, like, the way that he was swimming behind it and the stingray was moving forward. And if you think about it, do you think stingrays can move backwards? Like, you know how frogs can only jump forwards?
Or like sharks can't
like,
swim backwards?
Yeah, like
yeah,
you can never really imagine a stingray sort of
backwards.
swimming backwards.
Yeah.
So the stingray...
Hit
Steve
the
Irwin,
brakes.
Steve Irwin, yeah, brake checked. He came up on it.
Have you seen the video, Billy? I imagine that you've probably looked up the video.
So I didn't actually. Because it was 2006 when it happened.
Yeah.
So I was pretty young. I didn't have access to the internet, and I always heard there was a video. I haven't actually seen the video.
Yeah, I don't know if it exists out there.
I don't
but
think it
I
does.
just assumed that you had been, at some point, that you had looked for it.
No, because I think it was deleted. It was on the cutting room floor because they only had the production video.
Yeah, it got into his heart, right?
Yeah. Damn.
It's tough.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
He
Steve.
was so cool.
Yeah.
He was like, it's one of those things where I truly believe that good people go early because that they've done their time, like they've
made their impact.
Yeah, they've done their purpose on Earth. And that's
It's cool that his kids are living his legacy.
Yep.
And that's how I sort of rationalize it.
Yeah.
But damn.
Stingrays are a good one. Stingrays scare me. Did you ever do the thing growing up when you would go to the thing at the zoo where you could pet the stingrays?
Yep.
Did that all the time. Felt like a badass.
Yeah, I've done that.
Damn.
What else you got, Billy?
Who knew that the most painful animal was a human leaving?
Oh, wow. Great point, Billy.
The Arizona bark scorpion. The Arizona bark scorpion is one of the most venomous scorpions in North America. So it's crazy. They're also the most commonly encountered scorpion in Arizona. So when they say there's a reason you like wear your boots in the house,
Okay.
in the Southwest.
Yeah, so I always heard growing up that scorpion stings can kill you, but they don't really, right?
It depends. The venom causes acute pain and can lead to symptoms that include frothing in the mouth, breathing difficulties, and muscle convulsions. Limbs may also become immobilized. Though the venom is rarely fatal, its effects can last for as long as 72 excruciating hours. Arizona bark scorpions tend to hide in dark crevices during the day and hunt at night. Yeah, so I think it depends on your immune response.
Okay. Yeah, in Texas, there were just scorpions everywhere. Everyone had a story, if you grew up in Texas, of finding a scorpion in your house or finding them in your shoes or finding them in your shirt.
There's a snake in my boots.
Yep. I'm reading right now that there are conflicting reports on whether or not a video exists of Steve Irwin.
I think the video was definitely taken.
His wife said that it was destroyed, but the person that was filming it says the footage exists, but it will never be released.
Yeah, because I can imagine that's a very closed.
Yeah.
Like no one's gonna want to keep that.
Yeah.
Like he definitely wasn't leaked onto the internet because his crew was very tight knit.
For sure.
I mean, the tape I feel like is just somewhere, probably with his wife.
Yep. What else we got, Billy?
I mean, so honestly, I feel like the most painful thing an animal can do is eat you while you're still alive.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So I'm about to send you
Seems
guys.
like a tough way to go.
I'm gonna
Whitey would eat you.
no.
If you died in the house, you
Well,
think
yeah,
Whitey
but-
would eat you?
If I was dead, if I was alive,
No,
I'm
a
about
good
to-
dog won't do it. Cats will. Dog will
Yeah.
stand by your side and starve.
Will they?
I'd want him to eat me.
I think that has happened.
Cats. Oh, dude, there's this crazy story of this guy who had like a bunch of monitor lizards, and he was in Florida, and he was one of these dudes that's like got tons of like these giant monitors, and he let them roam around the house.
And they're
Like-
giant, right?
Yeah, like dogs.
Yeah.
And this guy, I think, was into drugs,
Yeah, no shit.
and he passed out on the couch, and the monitors ate him.
Listen, I don't want to do takes about anybody's death,
But go off.
but
Kind of what you signed up for.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had to expect at some point something was going to go wrong with your giant house of lizards.
Have you ever seen giant lizards feed?
I have not.
They are some of the most. Look up on YouTube, Asiatic monitor feeding. Eats a rat.
I just watched a video. I was searching tarantula hawk on YouTube, and it came up with a video of this guy who puts a python, a Pac-Man frog, a tarantula, and a centipede all in a 4x4 glass box.
And they fight
and just
to the
leaves
death.
them in there. The python fucking climbs up the thing and sits on the ledge and just watches.
Yeah.
And the frog eats the centipede, and then the tarantula somehow gets to the top too.
Yeah.
Did he build a web or something?
Wait, what type of Pac-Man frog? Pac-Man frogs are.
It says Pac-Man frog.
Pac-Man frogs are kind of, Pac-Man frogs aren't as cool. They're like smaller than African bullfrogs, but African bullfrogs are so much more.
It looks very similar to the kind of frog you say you like.
Yeah, but those ones don't have teeth. African bullfrogs have teeth. Are you watching it?
Yeah, I'm watching the feeding
It's
frenzy
violent
right now.
as fuck.
Yeah, they just go.
Because they writhe and
What
they
is
try to
this?
snap the neck of whatever they're biting.
What is this, Billy? What animal?
Here, I'll send it like a monitor lizard. Monitor eats rabbit.
Oh, not a rabbit.
Yeah. So that's not the most graphic thing I'm going to send you guys. This just popped up on my feed today, and these are human remains.
Oh, I don't want to watch
Stop,
that.
It's
Billy.
not-
Stop.
Water monitor eats rabbit.
that's not human remains.
I don't want to watch a human get eaten.
No, you're not. You're not going to watch a human get eaten.
You just said eating human remains.
No, I said these are.
Even this is fucked up, Billy.
That's
Not
what
a
I'm
rabbit.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Imagine that killing someone.
What was the human remains part?
Okay, so now I think the most painful animal in the world is a grizzly bear, because I've just found so today on Reddit I was just minding my own business, looking for stuff.
That's the opposite of what you're doing when you're prowling Reddit.
I'm working. I'm trying to find stuff to blog
You're
about.
not minding your own business.
I'm trying to find stuff to blog about.
Well, I was on 4chan just kind of minding my own business, and then next thing you know, I got radicalized.
I was on Reddit and I follow a page called Nature's Metal, and up popped an enormous brown bear went on a killing spree in Russia. And I'm like, what? Then I click on it, and then I realized they were straight up showing the pictures of the people who'd been eaten by bears.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to pass on that one.
So like it was one of those things. I was like, how the hell is this allowed on the internet? But it was literally like, you know how they talk about Russians in Adidas tracksuits?
Yeah.
It was a dude in an Adidas tracksuit who was eaten. Like,
have you seen Grizzly Man?
I actually haven't.
You would love Grizzly Man, except it's brutal at the end. So he dies.
Do they play the audio?
No, what they do is they have Werner Herzog. I think he's the director. And
watch it?
And
I saw that part.
They have him listen to it. And he takes the headphones off and he's like, you must destroy this. Nobody must listen to this again.
Yeah, I think a bear. So bears will just eat, because you're nothing to a bear. A bear will just eat you while you're still alive. And there's actually an example of another place in Russia. So it turns out in Russia, they're encroaching into Siberia, and like they're building new developments out there, and there's a huge population boom. No, there's not a population boom, but there's a lot of development.
Mm-hmm.
So there was an example of a woman who was being eaten by a bear who called her mother 3 times during the bear eating her to like tell her, like, help, call police, the bear is eating me right now. And like the reason she could, and you're like, what the hell, you can call someone while you're being eaten by a bear? That's because the bear was focused not on like restraining or fighting, but just eating the human. So it's about this woman, Olga Tizganenkov called her mom. She screamed, "Mom, the bear is eating me. Mom, it's such agony. Mom, help." Her mother, Tatiana, said at first she thought she was joking, but then I heard the real horror and pain in Olga's voice and the sounds of a bear growling and chewing. I could have died then and there from shock. Unknown to Tatiana, the bear had already killed her husband, Igor, by overpowering him, breaking his neck, and smashing his skull. Olga, a trainee psychologist, saw the attack on her stepfather in tall grass and reeds by the river and rushed and fled for 70 yards before the mother bear grabbed her leg. As the creature toyed with her, she managed to call Tatiana several times during the prolonged attack. Tatiana rang her husband, not knowing he was already dead, but got no answer. In a second call, a weak Olga gasped, "Mom, the bears are back." She came back and brought her 3 babies. "They're eating me." With the bears having apparently left her to die, she said, "Mom, it's not hurting anymore. I don't feel the pain. Forgive me for everything. I love you so much." While she was being eaten.
Jesus Christ.
Imagine being eaten. I don't give a fuck with any of these little bugs stinging. The most painful animal on earth is a gigantic brown bear, or probably any type of bear except black bear, eating you.
Yeah, that's it's pretty bad, Billy. It's very bad, Billy. But it sounds like she went numb at some point.
Yeah. So, but it must have been pretty painful getting your internal organs getting eaten.
Yeah, I would ask the bear politely. I would present my neck to it. Just be like, "Dude, take me out." That's gross. That's gross, Billy.
It was the most painful thing. So I was like, it just popped up. Do you guys want to see the original pictures?
I mean, Russian internet. No, I definitely don't. Russian internet is fucked up. I feel like they have a different internet altogether over there. Hard pass. Hard pass for me.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
All right. Any other painful shit that you guys don't want to deal with?
Did I just kill the
Watching
vibes
our
of the
sports
bear
teams
stories?
lose?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's probably what stings the most.
What about the old torture method where they would take a rat and they would put it in a metal pot? They've done this in a movie too, but it was a form of ancient torture. They would take a rat, put it in a metal pot, and then put the pot on top of your stomach. And then they would put a blowtorch on the pot, get it super hot. The rat doesn't know where to go. The only place it can go is down into your body.
Oh,
and so it would just start biting through you, and then just
They did that in a horror movie recently. I forget which it was.
Yeah, it's been in a couple movies.
Was it in what's that one?
That one's I want to puke.
Game of Thrones.
Okay, we're going to take a break from the convo real quick, but please stay tuned after this video. We found a corner of the internet that we did not know existed. Big T is very, very fired up about this. I'm fired up. Billy's fired up in a different way. But it is, it's shocking. It's shocking that we found a new type of person online, and I think that we're obsessed with them right now. So before we get to those people, we're going to do the interview with Coyote Peterson, the man that's been bitten and stung by more things than probably anybody ever. He's brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. If you're one of those people who thinks it's okay to drive stoned, I've got some more facts for you. You think to yourself, what's the worst that can happen? You end up driving below the speed limit. It's no big deal. Wrong. The truth is your reaction time slows way down when you're high. You not only put yourself in danger, but everyone around you. Talk about a buzzkill. Stop kidding yourself. It's not okay to drive high. If you've been using marijuana in any form, do not get behind the wheel. You've got police across the country stepping up enforcement. We're about to get into Labor Day weekend. They will be out and about. I don't want anybody to get arrested. I don't want anyone to get into a car accident, hurt themselves, hurt somebody else, or worse. Just get a safe ride. Please do it as a favor to us. We want you guys to be safe. If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, and you'll get a DUI. Now here's Coyote Peterson. We now welcome on a very, very special guest. We've been talking about him for a few months now. Coyote Peterson, a legend. I would say that you might be an Internet Hall of Famer.
Well, thank you, guys. That's a wonderful compliment. Happy to be here today. And as far as the Internet Hall of Fame, never even thought about that being a thing. In the world of animals, I would probably maybe fit into that category.
Yeah, I'd say as far as wilderness stuff goes, as far as nature shows go, animal shows, you're the guy. You're the internet guy. So it's great to have you on. You can check him out. Brave Wilderness is his channel on YouTube. And he's doing some conservation stuff with Save the Horns, trying to protect endangered rhinos. You can check that out. Is it savethehorns.com?
Yeah, savethehorns.com if you want to help the vanishing giants of our planet.
Yeah, I think we do. I'm on board for that.
Megafauna.
Yeah,
fan.
we're a big Megafauna podcast. So it's awesome to have you on. I think a lot of people probably know you from the stinging and the biting videos, which you've kind of distanced yourself from a little bit. I totally understand why, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But maybe can you just give like a little bit of background to yourself, like how you started up your channel, how you figured that like you could be, the Steve Irwin of the internet, kind of.
Yeah, so really it was a whole lot of no's, being told, no, this is never going to work, that ultimately built up and built up and built up until we were able to stand on it and finally find a yes. But my background, I went to school at The Ohio State University and I created my own major. It was called a personalized study program in screenwriting, producing, and directing. So I have a very healthy knowledge of the entertainment industry as a whole and what it takes to build brands, make storytelling exciting. And once I got out of college and went down the independent film road for a while, a couple of projects that didn't work out, my business partner Mark and I landed on this idea of making the next big animal adventure series. I've always loved animals. At the time, in 2006, Steve Irwin had recently passed away, which was tragic for everybody. And at the same time, Bear Grylls from Man vs. Wild was sort of beginning to make his rise. So we saw a void, we saw what was popular, and we said, well, how do we bring the fast-paced style of adventure that Bear Grylls was creating, but instead of killing and eating animals, how do we bring the love and the education, the conversation in like Steve Irwin did? And then sort of the Steven Spielberg side, which is really my background, and Steven Spielberg is a huge inspiration of mine, all kind of tied it together from the storytelling and filmmaking perspective. And we found ourselves launching on YouTube, and here we are 9 years later, still doing it. Very
cool. So from the start, like, did you know that you were going to be a hat guy? Because I feel like if you want to be like a real, like known as a conservationist and animal fanatic, you have to have either the khaki vest or the hat. So was there like a come to Jesus moment where you had to decide, am I going to be a vest guy or am I going to be a hat guy?
Well, I think I'm a vest and a hat guy. And while I don't have any hair at this point, truth be told, I had hair when we started all of this. So that's the entertainment industry stress for you. They can knock your hair off. But we were really inspired to do the hat direction based off of Indiana Jones. So Indiana Jones, obviously a huge inspiration on what I portray on screen with like an adventurous, some gear, some not gear sort of design to things. And we knew that people would recognize it, right? We had to do something that would stamp Coyote Peterson as unique. You've got a lot of show hosts in the past that have dabbled in hats here and there, but it's kind of become a staple for us where people recognize the silhouette, almost like you were able to do with Indiana Jones in the Spielberg movies.
Yeah, it's a solid look. So you start out, you're producing your own content, which I think a lot of people, when you were getting started, people probably wanted to do their own content on YouTube in the hopes of one day becoming, a television star. Mm-hmm. And I know that you've done some work for some of the networks, but it feels like you had the right idea where you could make all your own content on YouTube without the pressures coming in from the outside. And, you wouldn't be getting notes from anybody about your creative direction. And it kind of lets you grow a massive, massive audience that way. When you were getting started, was your goal to end up on television, or were you like, I'm going to do this on my own for as far as it'll take me?
Well, there were several years before we launched the YouTube channel where Mark and I were pitching Brave Wilderness as a television concept. 5 years actually is how long it took us. They say put in like 10,000 hours before something, actually goes somewhere. We spent 5 years developing Brave Wilderness as a TV series, pitching it to different production companies, getting close here and there. But again, it just continued to be the series of no's, where at the time there were a lot of ensemble shows, the Duck Dynasties, the Dual Survival, where it was like, well, a single guy running around out there catching animals and getting them up close for the camera isn't going to be a thing anymore. Planet Earth and all of those big BBC type series where people were admiring animals from a really far distance with a zoom lens seemed to be what was popular. We really kind of refused to take that as the end all be all. answer. I mean, I grew up on, Steve Irwin, Jeff Corwin, Marty Stauffer, Austin Stevens. I mean, these guys that were on the adventure, diving into the environment and immersing themselves into the experience. And we knew that for a younger generation, that was going to be important. So when all the television networks told us no, and we started on YouTube, we quickly realized that, like, man, we don't have anybody telling us what animals to pursue, what storylines to create. And when we eventually built Brave Wilderness to a certain level of success, all of those television networks came flocking back to say, hey, guys, we got to do a TV show now. Ultimately, we ended up doing one with Animal Planet that was a very uniquely structured deal in that we retained all ownership rights to the intellectual property that is Brave Wilderness, Coyote Peterson. They financed the show. They own the actual rights to that series, but nothing with Brave Wilderness, the YouTube channel or anything like that, were they acquiring from us. So it allowed us to, in tandem, be creating for television while also continuing to create on YouTube. But we also had full creative control of Brave the Wild, which was that Animal Planet series. It was an 18 part series, and right down to final cut. So the final end all be all was me and my post-production team saying, this is the narrative that we're giving to the world. And that was a very exciting spot to be in.
I love that. So I did a bad job introducing you, because I think the first thing that I should have asked you is what's up with the name Coyote? How did you get the name Coyote? It's a badass nickname.
So Coyote's a nickname I've actually had since I was a really little kid. And the short version of the story is my mom used to take me out west as a kid quite a bit to Arizona, Tucson area specifically. And I love catching lizards. So I was always chasing lizards around trying to catch them. And I very quickly recognized that roadrunners, which specifically love to prey on lizards, would also be hunting for the same thing. So I would follow roadrunners around, hoping that they'd lead me to lizards. I could scare off the roadrunner and then try to catch the lizard. And my mom started calling me the Coyote, like Wile E. Coyote from the Warner Brothers cartoon. That caught on with my neighborhood friends playing street baseball and basketball. Eventually we dropped the, just became Coyote. And I carried that moniker for quite a few years when I was younger, but then kind of ditched it when I got to high school. I was like, don't know if going into a new high school, people are going to want to necessarily be friends with somebody named Coyote, and go out in swamps catching turtles didn't necessarily seem like the good way to get dates on a Friday night. So kind of strayed off it until we came back to the animal show stuff. And then it just kind of stuck, and we continued on with it. Yeah,
Coyote is a badass nickname. But you're right. I feel like you have to be either like a superstar athlete in high school, or you have to be like the first guy with a beard in high school to pull off the nickname Coyote. I'm glad you came back to it.
I was able to grow a beard pretty early on, but I always had to shave. I had I could get 5 o'clock shadow after a couple days growing in. So at least had that going.
Cool. Yeah. So you mentioned catching lizards. We've done rankings of lizards and amphibians on the show. Can you rank your top 5 favorite reptiles?
Yeah. So all-time favorite animal and reptile in one is the common snapping turtle, which is a large predatory turtle species. Big here in Ohio. I mean, they get huge. The largest one I've ever caught was 55 pounds. I mean, these things are dragons for all purposes. Aggressive, scaly, big claws, long spiked tail. I mean, they're just so much fun to catch, and it's kind of what I was able to practice on. We always make this joke that if Steve Irwin had the crocodile, Coyote Peterson had the snapping turtle. And that's where I learned the art of being able to catch and safely interact with things. So snapping turtle, number 1 all time. Komodo dragon is definitely my favorite lizard. It's a species I have not filmed with yet in the wild, but want to do Komodo at some point. From there, I've been very into anacondas. I got to swim with anacondas for the Animal Planet series. So I'd say that's my favorite snake. So turtle, lizard, snake. Probably my favorite frog species is the Goliath frog, which we have not gotten the chance to film with yet. I mean, these things are it's like the world's biggest frog. So we're hoping to do that at some point. And then salamander wise, I would probably say the Japanese giant salamander, which I got to work with in Japan. Worked with the largest living one in existence at this point, is about 5.5 feet in length. It was freaking amazing. Wow. So yeah, there's my top 5 reptiles and amphibians.
So Billy's our animal expert. Billy, how would you rank his top 5 list?
Very high. The anaconda is the only one but all the rest of the picks I love.
You hate the anaconda?
No, the other picks are way better. Common snapping turtle, I think, always gets overshadowed by the alligator snapping turtle. But alligator snapper, ambush predator, not too active. Common snapper is a much more predatory animal.
Mm-hmm.
Does a lot more hunting, more mobile, sort of. So totally love that pick. Goliath frog, love giant frog.
That's your favorite frog, right?
Well, my favorite frog.
Billy's got a weird thing for frogs. Billy's kind of like, I don't know if you kind of feel the same way, but Billy, I think, is sexually attracted to frogs.
That's a joke they run here because I like frogs so much.
I don't go that far, but they're cute, I guess.
No, I like African bullfrogs, the pixie frogs, a little more than the Goliath, just because I've had a little more up close and personal experience with the pixie frogs. I used to keep a couple, and they just grow into these Jabba the Hutts. They're just awesome.
They're super cool.
But and I've never encountered Japanese giant salamander. Hellbenders is the only thing I've found, but that's like a American giant salamander. But I mean, that must have been insane being up close and personal with that one.
Yeah, we got to work with the world's most renowned giant salamander herpetologist. His name was Okada Sensei. This guy was like a Yoda, man. It was so cool getting to learn from him. He doesn't speak English, so we had a translator. And we went out into the backcountry of the Tottori Prefecture of Japan, caught these salamanders in the wild, and he, did all his biometric work. And if they don't have pit tags in them, we'd insert pit tags. And then the giant one, the huge one, is at their facility in the Tottori Prefecture. It's like this weird old building, looks like something out of The Walking Dead, and they have like all of these big, like almost swimming pools that are constantly flowing fresh, freezing cold water, and the salamanders are in there. And the biggest one that's ever lived is there in captivity, so it's pretty cool. And it was actually caught during the building of a bridge, and it was injured and could not be released back out into the wild. So like they brought it up from the depths in like the scoop of like a backhoe building a bridge. And they were like, holy crap, we caught a dragon, and then it obviously was saved and rehabilitated, and now they have it.
Now those giant salamanders, their predatory activity, are they more of a, like, what are they feeding on? And could you almost relate some of their behavior to crocodiles or alligators? Or are they a little more amphibian in that they're going after, invertebrates, or they're taking on a larger prey like a pixie frog or whatnot?
Yeah, so I would liken them really more to like a catfish in the structure of how they use airflow to like suck stuff into their mouths. And then, they have very fine, almost like cheese grater type teeth and a big raspy plate on the top of their skull. So they will just crush things apart and swallow them whole. So fish, frogs, snakes, other salamanders, they're very territorial. So the bigger a salamander is, if smaller ones move in, they'll just eat the smaller ones. So yeah, they're pretty ruthless creatures, that's for sure.
Some of the most unique animals on Earth, those giant salamanders.
Yeah,
it must have been amazing to be so close to them.
Basically,
it was.
Your life is what Billy wants to do for his career. So I'm going to let Billy cook for a little bit. Billy, I'm trusting you. Just go off. Ask him whatever you want inside that head of yours.
No, I mean, honestly, some of your most renowned work is how many times you've been stung. I mean, I know you probably get that a lot, but you're probably the only person who's had so many different bites in all of history. I mean, you've probably experienced the worst bites of all time. Were there any sorts of bites or encounters that you considered that were way too far that you would never do? Or do you think you hit them all?
There's always going to be something else to be bitten by, so to speak. I actually just filmed an episode of the Florida Keys. My arm is all messed up right now. I don't know if you can really see that or not, but I was just bitten by something called a tarpon, which is a giant fish. There's a famous place in the Florida Keys called Robbie's that has this very unique background with why the tarpon are there. And one fish specifically named Scarface that was rehabilitated after getting hit by a boat motor. It's like 8 feet long. Jeez. And I got bitten by Scarface. Like I had to get bit by multiple fish before we were finally able to get Scarface to essentially swallow my arm and shake me around it. I mean, it messed me up for sure. And I was showing you how not to feed the tarpon at Robbie's, because this is a thing that people can just come out and do from the dock. And what you don't want to do is what I did. So we sort of made it educational. But, the only time I'd say that we pushed, I wouldn't say that we pushed too far, but, one that I was like, man, I know this is going to be bad. I don't know how bad it's going to be, was the giant desert centipede, and just like relentless pain and the swelling. And after 9 hours of excruciating pain, I finally went to an emergency center and got like adult strength Advil.
Yep.
Wink, wink, where they were like, yeah, take this for the pain for the next 36 hours and you should be good. So that kind of saved my butt there. But the worst pain I've ever experienced from a bite was actually from a Gila monster, the only venomous lizard in the United States, but it was an accidental bite. I was filming it with a GoPro, like a dingus, not using a selfie stick. It was super calm. It was in the morning. It was cool. It was cold out. So I was like, well, it's going to be moving super slow anyways. It swung around, grabbed a hold of my thumb, and I ripped my thumb out of its mouth. I mean, my finger was in there for no more than 2 seconds, maybe less. And it got enough venom into my thumb to be the most excruciating pain I've ever felt, that lasted for about 8 hours. Could feel the venom travel all the way up my arm and into like my upper right side of my chest, which I feel I was lucky because it was on the side with my heart. I might have had some more complications, but my body eventually absorbed it all. It sounds really gross, but the next day I had massive diarrhea and my body just like expunged all of the toxins. My body like flushed itself out, and then I was fine.
Wow. So whose idea was it to have you start getting stung and bitten intentionally? I know the Gila monster was a mistake. That was unintentional.
Yeah.
But as far as the ones that you do where you're going by, was the Schmidt pain index, where you're getting stung and bitten by the most painful stuff? Was that your idea to get started, or was that somebody else that's like, hey, Coyote, I've got this great idea. You're just going to get fucked up for the next like 15 years of your life?
Yeah. Well, funny enough is it's not that it was necessarily so much somebody's idea as it was a warning from my mom, strangely enough. When we were filming, she lives in Tucson, Arizona now, like way out in the middle of nowhere, right on almost the border of Mexico. And there's a harvester ant nest in her backyard. And we were getting ready to go out into the wilderness behind her house to go look for stuff to film. And she's like, oh man, look out for those harvester ants. I got stung by one the other day. It like lit me up. And I was like, what? I didn't even know what that was. So we went out, we investigated the nest. I walked around by it. All the ants started coming out. I'm like, oh man, this is pretty crazy. Like they're sizable little ants. So we did a little research and learned that it is one of the most venomous insects based on its yield per sting, right? So the amount of venom that comes out is not a lot, but it's super toxic. So we're like, well, cool. Let's do an episode where I put my hands into the ant nest and we'll see what happens. That then began this snowball sort of direction to learning about Justin Schmidt and the insect sting pain index, where the bullet ant ranked, the things that led up to the bullet ant, and then can you go beyond what that is? So yeah, it was just kind of happen chance that we filmed that episode, which honestly turned into a complete crap show with ants getting in my pants, which we didn't expect. The chaotic nature of the production was like, yeah, don't even think we've got an episode there. But then when we brought it into post and I was editing it together, I was like, well, it's a piece of content. Let's put it out there. And the audience just loved it. And from there, it just started to skyrocket. I mean, we had less than 1 million subscribers. We might only have like 500,000 subscribers when that episode came out. So that was really the thing that set off the rocket ship.
Yeah, it's a total double-edged sword on that one. It's like, turns out my audience loves to see me in pain. I guess I bet the audience is always right. Better keep feeding them some red meat. And then, years later, you're out there getting stung by like the craziest things possible. And that's
right.
That's kind of what you were known for a little bit. I know that, understand that you've like trying to pivot it away from that a little bit, because obviously you can't, there's only certain things that you can get stung by. You're not going to go out there and get bitten by like a rattlesnake or a cobra that's got venom. That's just not, you're not going to actively try to die. Although, have you thought about like how many views you would get if you did get bitten by a cobra?
I mean, and that's where like there's a strategy to brave wilderness that's very well calculated, right? Like we know, because we've got experts we work with, we've got an in-house wildlife biologist, like there are just certain things that are way too far off the spectrum to even, begin to envision going down that road. Like, people are like, oh my gosh, when are you going to get bitten by a shark? Well, never intentionally, because even a small shark opening you up is like, dude, you're going to the hospital. You might bleed out. I mean, there's no like minor shark bite, right? With when it comes to venom, it's all about how your body reacts to venom, right? But there's some venoms like a king cobra or a rattlesnake or, a gaboon viper that are like, you're now playing Russian roulette with a gun that has 5 bullets in it, right?
Yeah.
5 out of the 6 chambers is loaded. Like, you are in a lot of trouble, and you don't know how your body's going to react to the venom or how it's going to react to the anti-venom that they have to use. Actually, in many instances, when people get bitten by venomous snakes, things compound when they add in the anti-venom because of an allergic reaction that somebody has to that. So it's just not worth the risk. We've found creative ways to milk venomous snakes, working with a professional team, and then pulling blood out of my body to mix the venom and the blood together and look at it under a microscope to show you what's happening. And it is catastrophic damage.
Yeah.
So, it's about being smart with what we are bitten and stung by.
I saw that one where your blood cells were basically exploding as the venom was touching it. And you don't want that inside your body. Would you consider yourself to be a tough guy, or are you a guy that's just like, do you get into like a meditative zone when you get stung by things where you're just trying to block out the pain as much as possible?
The pain that I've gone through is definitely its own level of intense. And the more things that I've done, the easier it becomes to, recognize that it's temporary, right? And you can sort of meditate through it in some regards. But again, to each their own. So to your question of, am I a tough guy? I definitely would say I'm not a tough guy. I would say I have a high pain tolerance. And I go through a lot of things that most people are like, dude, that's crazy. How could you ever put yourself in that position? I look at it more from the educational and entertainment side of things to say, look, people are confused by these animals. Most of the time, they're afraid of them. If I can show somebody the worst case scenario and show you that, it's going to be painful, but look at how hard it was for me to A, get to the location where this animal is, B, to actually find it and catch it, and C, get in those little forceps and get it on my forearm. Like, these animals don't have any interest in biting or stinging you. They really want to get away. So a sting is always going to be used as a defense to allow an animal to escape potential predation. So, again, we strategically set up and design these moments for there to be education, conservation where it's applicable, but first and foremost, entertainment. I mean, Brave Wilderness is an entertainment brand through and through. And the world of animals specifically is hard to drum up a lot of support behind unless you can get people excited and entertained by what it is that they're going to watch.
Now, after the sting, when you finally get that sense of relief, is that like kind of addicting? Just like the come down?
The relieving part is once we've wrapped an episode and we know that it all went off well, and my team is like, yep, we got the shots. Yep, we saw you getting stung. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the thing you don't want is for a shot to not be gotten and to be like, oh man, we got to get another sting shot. We didn't get the shot the first time, and we have not had really any scenarios where we've had to refilm something. We might rehold an insect in forceps to get a macro shot of me just holding it super still so you can see its stinger coming out again. The other thing that we try to do is not put too much stress on the insects during this process, because every time they're putting out their stinger, getting mad, they're also exerting some of that venom. So I always try to get as pure of a sting as I can on that initial hit, right? Because the venom is not endless. Jeez. They have a venom sac, and if they're getting rid of it, trying to sting something aimlessly, it's still getting expunged. So we try to be very careful with that. But to more directly answer the question, it's the relief comes once it's in the can, and we know we've got a piece of content that we're pretty confident is going to reach a lot of people.
Do you have a safe word that you use when you're being filmed, when it's like, okay, now really turn the cameras off and let me go seek help if it gets to a certain level of pain? Or because when you say, like, when they ask you, should we turn the cameras off? I imagine sometimes you're thinking, this is so much pain. I need somebody to look at me. But they have to know, like, it's good for content if you're in pain, which is such a weird thing for a crew to be dealing with you while you're on camera.
The only time that there was ever like, hey, let's actually cut the cameras was when I got bitten by the giant desert centipede. But we also strategically, from a filmmaking perspective, knew that we were going to cut that episode into 2 parts, the bite version and then the venom extraction tool version, which venom extraction things are a huge farce. They don't really work. So we got a little bit of kickback from the audience on that for even using one of those, which we kind of knew doing it. But the entertainment value of like, let's see if we can suck venom out of my arm from the giant desert centipede was extremely popular. So, we kind of just ran with it in that sense. But we did strategically work in a part that was like, I legit was in an insane amount of pain. And it's like, all right, cut the cameras. Let's see what's actually happening here. Let's let this swell a little bit. And then let's bring in the venom extractor for the second part of the episode, reset the cameras, boom, and we just run right with it.
So venom.
Real quick. Are you telling me that, like, I've watched a lot of Western movies. If you get bitten by a snake and, they always suck the venom out, they suck the side of the bite, that doesn't work?
No, absolutely not. That is the worst thing you can do because you're putting more stress and more damage on that area. And if you're trying to suck out venom, you may then be getting that venom on something or someone else at the same time. And you can touch snake venom, right? So snake, centipede, two different types of venoms. Snake venom, you can drink snake venom. And if you don't have an open sore in your mouth, even like a canker sore, or you didn't cut yourself flossing, you don't have any lesions inside your body, you can digest and pass venom without it getting into your bloodstream, so to speak. But it's when venom is actually injected into the bloodstream that it becomes a problem. Now, no one should ever try to drink venom, even though people have. But when it comes to a venom extractor, that actually causes more damage than it will help.
Okay.
Do you think your body's experienced the widest variety of poisons and venoms of any human ever?
No, I think that Justin Schmidt has definitely taken more of a variety of venoms because Justin Schmidt, who created the insect sting pain index, he is like the godfather of this science, right? He got stung by way more things than I did. Just a lot of them were way lower down on the scale, right? We sort of jumped. So if he wrote the novel, we Steven Spielberged it and made the movie. We're like, let's just jump right to the action parts and do the worst stings because we know that's what's going to be entertaining. And actually, since then, we've gone back and started doing more of like the backyard stings, the common things like your basic hornets or a basic paper wasp. Because honestly, people are much more likely to encounter something like that than a Japanese giant hornet. So we did it strategically at a point in time that we never knew the rocket ship ride for these bites and stings was ever going to be as popular as it was. Like we were learning this as we were going along and as the audience was building and building and building up the anticipation and the viewership and the subscriber count on the Brave Wilderness channel.
So is there a insect or an animal that you've been stung or bitten by that according to the Schmidt Pain Index scale you thought was overrated? You're like, oh, this isn't that bad.
Well, I do know that Justin was not stung by the same variety of giant hornet that I was stung by. There's several different giant hornet species. The one I was stung by is the actual true Japanese giant hornet, which he had not been stung by, which I ranked right there with the bullet ant at the top crux of it all. But just above that is the executioner wasp, which is also something Justin was never stung by. The reason we made the executioner wasp the ultimate king of sting broke down into things that went beyond just the pain of the venom. It had to do with the fact that, like, all right, if Justin Schmidt ranked the bullet ant as the top of this sting index, the giant hornet, which is a bigger insect all around and can be found in swarms and can sting repetitively, and it flies, is much more dangerous than stumbling into a nest of bullet ants, right? So the pain was about equivalent, swelling about equivalent, but the executioner wasp, also capable of swarming, and the sting actually had some necrotic components to the venom. And it's actually the only sting that I ever have gotten a scar from. It sort of cooked a hole in my arm and put like a pock mark, almost like you would get from like, if you had acne, you had like really bad zits and it makes like those pock marks. Imagine like that, or like a divot in my forearm that existed for several months from the venom.
Damn, I got bit by a bunch of brown recluses one time. I was working in a wood pile. And so,
really?
I have one on the side of my face right here. And it's still like a tiny little mark that goes in. Got bit like on my collarbone, on my leg. I didn't know what it was because when you get bit by a spider, sometimes you don't realize that you've been bit by a spider, especially if you're walking around. And so then a couple days later, I get these lesions, or over the course of the next couple days at least, and then they don't go away. I go to the doctor. They're like, yeah, it's a brown recluse bite. So there is like a little bit of that necrotic experience that you have you ever been bitten by like a real venomous spider?
Nope. So I've done free handling with the black widow and the brown recluse, which are the two most potent spider species in the United States. The most dangerous spider I've ever worked with is something called the Sydney funnel web spider. I work with professionals in Australia to catch and milk those spiders. That's the only spider that they make anti-venom for. And the male Sydney funnel web spider, if you were bitten by one, is 100% going to kill you in almost every instance. So maybe I should say like 99.9% positive. But if you get bitten by a male Sydney funnel web spider, you have to get anti-venom, or it will be a very slow, very painful death.
Yeah, those spiders are so cool. And I love the milking videos that you do to see the venom that's coming out of the fangs of that thing, and the tiny little, it's almost like a little vacuum that they have to use like on its fangs, right? You have to have like the most steady hands in the world and just get those drops of the venom out. Those things are ferocious, man. And I think one thing you don't get enough credit for sometimes is your ability to spot animals. You're really good at, I don't know if any of it's like stuff that you stage. Maybe it's something that like, you know that there's a snake here and you see ahead of time and you have the camera follow you up. But I see some of the snakes that you spot and the spiders that you spot under logs. And I have no idea how you see those. How long has it taken? Like, have you always had a good eye for those things, or is it just experience and being out and seeing them in nature a lot?
Yeah, great question. So two-part answer there. When it comes to spotting things in the wild, that is a huge piece of the art form that myself and also my wildlife biologist, Mario, we're just good at it, right? We're really good at it. And it comes from the training of looking for snapping turtles. So when a snapping turtle comes to the surface, it will only put the tiny piece of its nose up. Sometimes it'll go a little higher and put its eyes up, but even still in mud and weeds, like you're looking for a very, very, very distinct abnormality to the environment. A lot of times it might just look like a piece of a plant or a log sticking up. And it's those sorts of like macro focus moments that we also recognize in other animal species for sort of taking out their camouflage defenses, seeing them before they see us. And many times an animal is going to rely on its camouflage, and you can get really close to it and it's just going to sit there and do nothing. Like, okay, I'm assuming you don't see me until we're actually in pursuit of it. When it comes to the things that we feature on the channel, we work very, very hard to make sure that we are never staging scenarios. Do we recreate scenarios at certain points in time? Yes. And we usually tell the audience when we're doing that. Or if we have caught something off camera and then we bring it into the scene, it's like, hey, we caught this last night. Cameras were already down. We held on to it. Here's how we're going to show it to you guys today. So we don't ever go out into the wild with like an animal in a container and go like toss it over there in the bushes and be like, all right, let's see if we can find it now. Like we put in the time and the effort to make sure we're finding things naturally in the wild.
Yeah, that's some of the scariest parts to me actually, is when you're just walking through, you know, the jungles of Costa Rica and you're shining your tiny little flashlight and you're like, stop, everybody stop, because there's a fer-de-lance over there. And I see it. And then they zoom in on the camera and I still don't see it, even after you guys have zoomed in. Is there any like close encounter that you've had with an animal that's unplanned, something that you weren't expecting when you were out on a shoot that made your heart stop, and looking back, you're like, holy shit, that was really scary?
Yeah, I mean, dozens of them. And since you mentioned fer-de-lance, one of my closest calls was with a fer-de-lance. And by close call, I mean something that didn't happen, that if it had happened would have been a life-altering emergency situation. We were filming in Costa Rica and I caught what's called a cat-eyed snake that's very skinny. It looks like a vine with these big buggy eyes. And I caught it. It's non-aggressive, non-venomous. I'm handling it. And the team's like, cool, let's crouch down here so you can just kind of let the snake slink around on you. We investigated the area, flashing around flashlights. Okay, cool. No fer-de-lance anywhere. There was one palm leaf hanging over that we did not look under, and curled up like this big in a ball was a fer-de-lance, a juvenile fer-de-lance, about 2.5 feet in length. Size doesn't matter when it comes to the potency of a fer-de-lance's venom. I'm crouched down presenting the snake for almost 2 minutes. And one of my on location, we call them fixers. They're experts in the location that get us access to certain properties. He's like, Coyote, fer-de-lance. And I hop up expecting to see something slithering out of the darkness. I kid you not, less than 2 feet away from me, there's this snake curled up under this leaf. If I had lost my balance, put my hand back. If it had bit me, it would have bit me right near my kidneys. So immediately you would have had venom near vital organs, and it would have been honestly quite possibly could have killed me if we had not gone up. And we were in the middle of nowhere in Siquirres, Costa Rica. So it was a really scary moment.
Damn. All right, Billy, go cook.
I mean, the Gimpy. I know there's been a lot of, would you ever so the Gimpy is one of the,
I don't even know what the Gimpy is.
Oh,
the Gimpy is, so it's called the suicide plant. There's tons of people, when I was looking into it, there's this plant in Australia that if you touch it, it basically has the worst sting of any plant on earth. It's super painful. In World War II, soldiers used to accidentally use it as toilet paper and cause them the most excruciating pain, like the worst poison like the worst thing ever. It has tiny little lances that get into you with some of the worst poison that some say lasts for years. Have you ever looked into this plant? Have you ever, I mean, it sounds like I wouldn't want you to do it, but there's a large contingency of people I see who ask, like, Coyote Peterson, do the Gimpy, touch the Gimpy. And I just wanted to hear your thoughts on it, because that's something that I would, never even want to consider. If you look it up, it's someone on National Geographic did it. I don't know, can't remember his name exactly, but it's supposed to be like the worst sting of all time. And
wow. We have not found a way yet to necessarily make plants as entertaining as animals when it comes to like put yourself in a worst case scenario. You know what I mean? Like, I miraculously do not get poison ivy or poison oak. Like, any of those poison plants have no effect on me whatsoever. I can pick poison ivy and be like, meh, and nothing happens. So even if I did get it, the thing that would suck about poison ivy is like, you wouldn't see it happen on camera. It would be days later and you'd be super miserable. So a lot of times with plants, it's like you don't see enough of a reaction happening instantaneously to make it worth ever trying to make it entertaining, if that makes sense.
Maybe bull nettle. That hits you pretty hard and pretty quick.
Yeah, I think and nettle does affect me, but it comes and goes very quickly. And honestly, it's like a little bit of a red rash, and then that's it. Not enough to really make it entertaining.
For the show, I would 100% get poison ivy and rub it on myself live, because I've never gotten poison ivy in my life. My sister gets it terribly.
Be careful, because that can change. I didn't used to be allergic, and then all of a sudden, one time I got it. Like, your body's reaction to it can change. I think Billy's right, though. I think the way to do it would be just using the most painful plants as toilet paper, and that would be the show. I feel like that would.
I'll tell you what, I'm in full support, Billy. If you want to try this,
I'm not.
Just write me a memo on how it went, and then I'll consider it.
No, I mean, I just wanted to hear your, where you thought it landed on the scale and whatnot, because we're doing an episode today on the most painful animals and plants, and I just wanted to bring up the Gimpy because it sounds terrifying.
It's something to look into. I think, Billy, I will support you gimping yourself, wiping yourself with Gimpy plants. When you get stung by, I know that one time you accidentally got stung by like 32 bees.
It was like 60 plus bees.
Yeah. So when you get stung by multiple things at once, can you still feel the pain from each sting individually, or does it just become a massive pain that blends together?
The bee debacle, the bee beard gone wrong, was one of the most painful experiences I've gone through. Honeybees specifically have a very potent sort of neurotoxin mixed in with their venom. That's because when a bee stings, it loses its stinger and venom sac, and it keeps pumping to drive off a bear or a badger or whatever it might be that's trying to get the honey out of the nest. And when that bee beard scenario went wrong, I mean, my face swelled up like an overcooked hot dog. It was an insane amount of pain that lasted for about 10 minutes before it started like, okay, cool. I can like breathe again. I mean, like, my eyes were watering. It was just like, oh my gosh, I hope my body doesn't go into anaphylactic shock taking that many stings that quickly.
So in that scenario, what exactly went wrong? Because I've seen a lot of people, like, we've all seen Jackass, where they take the queen bee, and usually people people who know bees, like my uncle's a beekeeper, so he like smokes out the bees to calm them down.
Mhm.
What do you think went wrong in that scenario where the bees just weren't having it that day?
Well, we know what went wrong in theory, right? So Chris Brinton, the guy that I worked with, the honeybee expert, the bees that we started using to build the bee beard with, they were a friendly, docile stock of European bees. Where we shot the scene is in one of his bee yards. He's got multiple bee yards throughout Arizona. And a bee yard is a place where he goes and extracts an Africanized swarm and puts it in an area to genetically reprogram it by swapping out its queen. So there's a whole science to this. Where we were filming, we were too close to some of the other bee boxes. He thinks some of those bees got drawn in by just the pheromone coming off of me. So then you had a docile stock of European bees that began fighting with Africanized bees on my face.
God.
So it's like once one stung, it was like, okay, cool, one sting, and then there was another one.
And then
a couple minutes later, another one, and then another one. It's like the pheromone, which is what alerts these bees to be like, hey, we're fighting for something here. They essentially started fighting. Wasn't even wearing a queen on my neck. I was just wearing a pheromone. I didn't even have a queen on me at that point. I did use the actual queen's necklace when I did this for Animal Planet, and it went fine. We made a massive bee beard on me for Animal Planet that's different than what was on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it's essentially the bees got in a fight on my face, and I was the punching bag.
Well, Africanized bees, I mean, we'd love to hear your opinion on the giant Asian killer hornet and the Africanized bees, because I remember when Africanized bees first hit the scene, I was watching The Most Extreme. I was 7. It was on Animal Planet, the top 10 countdown. They started talking about Africanized bees. I was like, oh my God, these Africanized bees are invading, and all our good honeybees are going to start going extinct. And then just recently, all those giant Asian hornets started coming into the Pacific Northwest. How much of a threat do you think that they will be actually, and how concerned should the general public actually be when it comes to those two invasive species?
So I know at this point, and I haven't looked into it at all recently, but when the whole murder hornet craze happened in 2020 or whenever it was way more media hype than I think it needed to be. I wasn't complaining because everybody wanted to talk to the guy who'd been stung by the giant hornet. Actually, it continues to be one of the most popular episodes on our channel. But I know they have since discovered a nest or two in the upper Pacific Northwest area. Whether or not they're going to create a stronghold and breed, and all of a sudden, like, we're just going to be one with Africa or giant hornets at some point, I'd say is really unlikely. But I think we probably said it was going to be really unlikely that we were going to have invasive pythons and invasive iguanas and anything that becomes an invader and finds the right longitude and latitude to exist on based on their migration patterns, their breeding patterns, et cetera, et cetera. If they create a stronghold, they'll be there. I don't think we're ever going to be worrying about like riding a subway in New York and all of a sudden there's going to be giant hornets on the train. You know what I mean? It's
make a great movie.
Unlikely. It would be a great movie. Hornets on a train.
Yeah, that's it. You just sold a million
Sting
tickets.
Train.
Right, Sting Train. That's perfect.
For some quick street cred, I've been stung by a sand hornet. I was trying to catch them. There was a golf course, and they were making their nests, and sand hornets are huge. And I was fucking with them because I was catching them.
What's more impressive from your perspective, being stung by a sand hornet or getting bitten by 3 brown recluse spiders?
Brown recluse spiders are definitely way more damaging, so I think you win with the brown recluse.
What's up, Billy?
When you say a sand hornet, are you talking about cicada killers? Are you talking about the cicada killer wasp, or are you talking about because the cicada killers are pretty sizable. Was this a big wasp?
It was about as big as my thumb, which is
that's
about
probably a cicada killer.
Yeah, I got stung. So I was catching them with a butterfly net because I was like, what are these things? These giant wasps. And then my dad was like, why don't we pour gasoline on their holes? But turns out there's only like one in each hole.
Is that a like something that you would advise doing as a wildlife expert?
Playing with gasoline, period, is probably not the smart way to go ever.
It is very cool, though. I've seen some videos where people pour like a molten metal, like I forget what kind of metal, down into a fire ant nest, and then you get to see all the different tunnels underneath the ground. That's pretty badass too. But yeah, I feel like anytime that I see a video of somebody using like an accelerant, like a flammable liquid on a nest, it just ends up burning down their own house.
Right.
It was in a sand pit.
So it was safe.
Yeah.
But still,
well, in all fairness, for the cicada killers, they're a solitary wasp. So the females are the ones that are stinging and paralyzing the cicadas, and then they drag them down into those holes, lay an egg on the cicada. It hatches, and similar to a tarantula hawk, it feasts off of the cicada that's there, and the larva grows, and then it hatches out, and the cycle repeats itself.
Yeah.
So if you were to be lighting the ground on fire with cicada killers, you're maybe killing one, and that's about it.
That's what we realized.
Yeah,
it was a very fun series of events when I was like 11.
Yeah, sounds like it. One thing we were discussing on the show the other week, Billy brought it up, and maybe you can debunk it, because Billy, he's on the bleeding edge of animal news on the internet. So anytime there's a video that comes out where it's like, oh, this could be Bigfoot, Billy's like, yo, they actually found Bigfoot this time.
Yeah.
There was a black jaguar that was allegedly spotted?
Yes. There's been reported sightings of Michigan about a large black big cat, looks like a black panther in the northern 48. So, I'd say it's one of those like Monster Quest episodes where there's like, is there black mountain lions? And even though there's no genealogical black mountain lions, there has been a bunch of spottings of large black cats. So,
gotcha.
There was one caught on a trail cam. I don't know what's your opinion on it, but I'm pretty convinced that there's some giant black panthers roaming in North America.
Billy just has to see a video on the internet, and he's like, oh, it's real, probably. And then we work backwards and we debunk it after the fact.
Well, we just did an episode on jaguars that comes out later in September. I just spent amazing several weeks in the Pantanal region of Brazil. We saw 39 jaguar sightings in 7 days in this one area, 19 different individuals. And my goal the whole time with the experts we were working with, the big joke was, when am I going to see the melanistic jaguar? It does not exist. Like, nobody has ever seen a black jaguar. Black leopards, I think, are maybe a little bit more common. Never heard of a black mountain lion. And for context, there's no such thing as a black panther, right? Panthera is a genus. Like there's, they will call mountain lions panthers, but it's a melanistic version of one of these cats. And while I know in Costa Rica, I have seen footage, actual trail cam footage on one of my friend's properties where he did get shots of a melanistic jaguar, and it was big news. As far as there being one in like the lower 48 states, not that I've ever heard of, but these cats can escape from captivity. You got to remember how many people have big cats in captivity, and if they're breeding things genetically a certain way in captivity, not impossible. Nothing's impossible at this point.
Okay, so speaking of nothing's impossible, I'm going to list a couple different cryptids, and you tell me which one is the most likely to exist. Bigfoot, Yeti, Loch Ness Monster, Chupacabra.
Are you guys familiar with the recent Bigfoot debacle we just had?
Yes.
Billy thought that was real.
Well, it was marketed as real for one episode. I made,
Coyote. Yeah.
For one episode, but then it was
a bear skull, right?
Well, no, it was a gorilla skull model. It was Blair Witch marketing that was supposed to be in good fun and drive up hype around a video and to sell a t-shirt. But unfortunately, it exploded the internet in a way that we never intended and made a lot of people, especially the Bigfoot community, really, really angry, which, we feel really bad about. But I love Bigfoot. I've loved Bigfoot since I was a little kid. And like the audience was like, you guys got to make a Bigfoot episode. We just couldn't come up with the right way to do it. You know what I mean? I was never going to take somebody and put them in a gorilla suit and throw them out of the woods and be like, hey, let's pretend to film Bigfoot. We created the what if scenario of why has no one ever found a skull? You know how many T-Rex skulls we found at this point? Like 70 of them, but we haven't found a Bigfoot skull. So we're like, man, what if somebody found that? What would it look like? Unfortunately, the marketing that was my bad that I put out before the episode released ended up being way too convincing. And the internet picked it up in a way that just like people were writing articles in other countries and were like, oh no, I felt so bad for my poor social media team that was having the nightmare dealing with everything that was the fallout from the Bigfoot skull debacle. But, you know, you live, you learn. We probably won't be making another Bigfoot episode, but I think the most likely one to either exist now or to have existed would be Bigfoot. But in argument of the Loch Ness Monster, there were actual animals that looked just like Nessie in prehistoric times, right? Prehistoric aquatic reptiles. There was plesiosaurs, there were elasmosaurs, and their whole grouping of like long-necked, brachiosaur-looking reptiles with fins. Did one possibly survive till now? Not in the freezing cold waters of Loch Ness, that's for sure. I can guarantee you that much. Like reptiles can't live in cold water like that.
Or for like 65 million years. That's probably another one. If there was one, then there at some point had to be two of them in Loch Ness.
Yeah, they're not going to live for that long.
Gigantopithecus, though, did exist.
It did, yep.
A very large primate. Kind of could be a Yeti, could be Bigfoot.
You're saying no to Yeti, and you're saying no to the Chupacabra then?
Well, no, I'm no. Yeah, so Yeti's like its own subspecies of bipedal primate, right? Like there's Bigfoot, there's skunk ape. Yeti's like the northern Nepal like ice version, right? Maybe, I don't know. It'd be pretty cool if it did. When it comes to Chupacabra, I've watched quite a few videos of things that have been found, and I think in a lot of instances they're coyotes or other mammals that end up getting mange and are super malnourished that just look really freaking crazy. I don't think that there's something out there that's sucking the blood out of goats and sheep. That's just not indicative of any animal species, you know? At least with something like a Bigfoot or Sasquatch, it's like, okay, cool. A large one of the great apes that sticks to the really high regions of the mountains where it's really hard to get to, that's super elusive, super in tune with its environment, and if somebody's coming, they're going to know it from miles away, and it can get out of the way. So
what's one animal that you really want to see that does exist that you haven't encountered yet?
Well, definitely Komodo dragons, and that's just because I haven't been to Komodo yet. Finding them is not so much the difficult part. Like from a rare perspective, if I were to ever go out in the wild and be like, man, I'd love to dedicate some time to tracking and seeing one of these in the wild, it would be a wolverine, which is it's my favorite mammal of all time. And I have gotten the chance to work with a wolverine, one that was raised in captivity in Alaska. But to see a wolverine in the wild is very, very rare. And it would take you weeks searching or just miraculously being in the right place at the right time to have an encounter, which can get very costly for production.
So why is that your favorite mammal?
Something about its go-getter attitude. They're vicious, yet they're small. They can drive bears and wolves off of their kill. They've been known to take down moose and caribou. I mean, this thing is like a ball of muscle, claws, and tooth and jaw structure power that's just unbelievable. I mean, this is the most voracious little creature on the face of the planet, and I just admire its sheer will to survive.
Who do you think wins in a fight, a honey badger or a wolverine?
Wolverine all day long.
Good question, though.
I mean, the wolverine is the original honey badger. Like the internet found out about the honey badger about 10 years ago, and everyone got obsessed with the honey badger. Tyrann Mathieu was called the honey badger, but the wolverine was always the bigger badass than the honey badger.
Goat. Yeah,
it's the goat. Yeah.
So
I mean, that's why there's an X-Men character named Wolverine, who's like the most badass X-Men character of all time that they just keep franchising. Like Wolverines have non-retractable claws. And, you know, in all fairness, a Wolverine up against a honey badger would probably be a pretty ridiculous match. I do think the Wolverine would win in the long run because they're just a little bulkier and their jaw structure is just probably a little bit stronger.
So if you kind of zoom out on that and we're doing like an animal battle royale, it's got to be the hippo, right? The hippo defeats everything.
For a land/aquatic animal, I mean, I think the hippo is definitely up there, but I think the most lethal killing machine on the planet is probably a killer whale. If I was to have to like pick like the perfect predator because of the way that they can work as a pack, right? And their intelligence, their problem solving skills. and they're just sheer power. Like if you were to put a hippo in the ocean, killer whale would definitely destroy it.
Yeah, home field advantage definitely matters in that matchup.
Yeah.
But on land, you think like a hippo. What's the most formidable opponent to a hippo?
I'd say polar bear.
I mean, like big predatory cats won't mess with a hippo. I think there are crocodiles, like large Nile crocodiles, that have probably attempted to mess with a hippo. But then again, there becomes that like group mentality that if like a hippo sees his buddy getting in trouble with a crocodile, it's like, yeah, you're done, buddy. They all rush in and stomp and rip. And yeah, I mean, hippos are ruthless. They really are. I'd say it probably ranks as the most dangerous animal in all of Africa.
Are you familiar with Gustav the crocodile?
I am, yes.
So there's a lot of conjecture about whether or not Gustav is alive or dead at this point. Some people say that he's dead, but to my knowledge, it hasn't been verified. He's killed like 600 people, something like that.
Yeah.
Allegedly, or those deaths are attributed to this one guy. Do you think he's alive?
That's the big one that they caught, right?
Yeah. Well, they
So
said
thinking of the same one, like that huge, like 27-footer, right?
Yeah, they said that they caught him, but I've seen conflicting reports on that. I just wonder how, from a logistical standpoint, how do people attribute the deaths to the same crocodile? Can it be like a lookalike?
I mean, death by crocodile is death by crocodile. Like if you've seen crocodiles, some of the sizes that I've seen between salties and Nile crocs, these things are huge. Like a human has no chance whatsoever if one of those crocodile species gets a hold of you. You know, one crocodile killing 600 people, very unlikely. I mean, in countries around the world, whether it's Australia or primarily a lot of backcountry areas of Africa specifically, the Nile crocodiles, and I don't know this is a fact, but I would say there are more Nile crocodiles taking out humans than there are saltwater crocodiles. Because where the saltwater crocodiles exist, yes, it is remote. It's outback, it's bush, it's whatever. But there are not as many people living in those areas close to those giant crocodilians. And when they see a crocodilian of that size as a nuisance croc, it's caught and moved elsewhere. But in the back bush of South Africa or Africa as a whole, right? Far more people coming into close proximity with Nile crocodiles. So I'd say they are probably the most damaging.
All right. So you mentioned Save the Horns, SaveTheHorns.com. Check out the website right now. What are we doing? What are we doing to save the rhinos? I want to save a rhino.
Yeah. So we filmed a rather compelling episode earlier this year on black and white rhinos. So black rhinos are the most endangered rhino species in all of Africa. There's fewer than 5,000 of them left in the wild. Obviously, horn poaching has been the big thing that's taken out rhinos of all types, specifically the blacks and the whites. And we are working with Karica Game Reserve, Bear Grylls, and a group called Global Conservation Force to bring awareness to the poaching that's being done and trying to get raise money to open up this expansive part of Karica Game Reserve's land, a new plot of land that they've gotten the permits for to move in a breeding population of black rhinos. And what's unique about this spot specifically is it is so far away from where the majority of poaching is happening. This could be the last stronghold for black rhinos if poaching is not brought to an end in the next decade. And I can tell you right now, poaching is not going to be brought to an end in the next decade. So we're trying to create a reserve population, breeding population of black rhinos in the Eastern Cape of South Africa.
I love that. That sounds like a great plan. I'm all on board. I fully support that. Just an idea. I'm an ideas guy. I'm not actually going to go out and execute any of these ideas. As a fundraiser, you should get bit by like, what are some humans that are bite? Like Luis Suarez or Mike Tyson. You should get your ear bit off by Mike Tyson to raise money. Like, how much do you really care about these rhinos?
I mean, if you can get Scarlett Johansson or Jessica Biel to possibly come and inflict a bite, I would much sooner sign up for that than I would Mike Tyson. But hey, I go up against a champ any day.
You gotta think big on this one. We've had Mike Tyson on our show before. Like, I can make a couple phone calls and see if he's interested. Okay. I mean, if you're serious about this conservation thing, seems like that's a no-brainer, right?
Maybe I should let Mike Tyson punch me.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather get bit by a cobra than let Mike Tyson just take a full shot on me.
Interestingly enough, we are in pre-production right now on a mantis shrimp episode. Do you guys know what a mantis shrimp is?
Mhm.
It has the most powerful punch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Crazy.
So I'm going to get punched by one of these. We're in the process of making this happen, filming it with a phantom camera in slow motion, punching into my hand. I don't know what's going to happen,
man.
but we're going to work in some boxing elements too. So I don't know, maybe Mike Tyson will want to come be a part of the mantis shrimp episode where it's like, what would you rather get punched by, Mike Tyson or the mantis shrimp? See how hard Mike Tyson can punch my hand versus the mantis shrimp.
The pressure per square inch might go to the mantis shrimp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Tell Mike Tyson to hit me up.
Okay, we'll make that call for you. We'll let you go.
Mike Tyson, you punch like a shrimp.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. We'll let you go, but thank you very much for joining us, Coyote Peterson. You can check out is it savethehorns.com?
Yep.
And get involved with what he's doing. Be on the lookout. I do have one last question for you.
Yeah.
At some point, after you've established yourself as being a big name, you've got this wildly successful YouTube channel, and you're about to get stung by something incredibly painful. Are you like, I'm too rich for this shit? Like, why am I doing this?
Nah, for me, it's definitely not about the money at all. It's about getting people excited about animals, man. Like, I remember being the 8-year-old kid that probably now watches me thinking, man, like, I just want to go on adventures. I want to learn about these cool things. And I got the best job in the world. I travel with my friends. All my friends work with me in an office. Like, Wilderness Productions is 17 full-time employees, including myself. And we get to be big kids. We travel the world and get up close with animals. So for us, it's not about the money as much as it is about just bringing people the next great vicarious experience they can live through our adventures.
I love it. Well, if you check them out on YouTube, Brave Wilderness is a great channel. And if you're in New York, if you want to do like a city episode where you go check out some rats and stuff, let Billy know, because Billy would probably quit this job and just follow you around full time. You wouldn't even have to pay him.
Dude, we've been wanting to do a Sewers of New York Rats episode for quite some time. It's always in the background. Like, man, how do we go explore a section of the sewers and like set up traps to be like safe traps to be like, what is the biggest rat we can catch in New York?
I've seen some.
I feel like that would go viral.
Yes.
There's some serious rats on the Lower East Side, like big ass.
Let's go
rats.
catch them.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll find a sewer gator, one of the alleged sewer gators. That might be.
Again, if we could find what that is, man, you get the right thumbnail and the right title, alligator caught in New York sewer, viral video right there without me having to get bit or stung by anything.
If you just tell, I won't be involved. I'll maybe release an alligator and then you can find it.
No, we don't stage it. We don't stage it, Billy. That goes against his code of ethics.
Tell him, Billy.
But Billy will be your local guide. Like when you go to the jungles of the Amazon, you have a Quechua individual walking you around, showing you things. Billy is your Quechua for New York City to show you all the best rat spots. So if you ever come to the city, I'm serious, like hit us up and we will loan Billy out to you, maybe for the rest of his life, and he will be your guy.
You know what I have seen though? I have seen ferrets that not many people talk about this. They're probably just released pets, but there's some gigantic ferrets in Manhattan that have been eating like sewer rats.
I love it.
Let me find the video.
Okay, but Billy's going to track down the video. I'm sure it's real.
Billy, we got to get you and I out looking for rats, bud. Let's get this in development for 2023. I'm telling you, catching huge rats in New York City sewers with you guys, done deal.
I'm down.
I love
it. I'll get the waiters.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, thanks, Coyote. Take care, man.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Yeah, appreciate you joining us, man.
Billy, if you really do know areas, what we would want to do is get like those safe have a heart traps and like set them up in several different places, sort of create like the ghost adventure, getting into a section of sewer to explore, make it gross and grimy. And then ultimately, like, rats are interesting, dude. They're super charismatic and people are terrified of them. Plus you can work in the Ninja Turtle angle with Master Splinter. Like, there's so much cool stuff to be had there. And I don't know when the next Ninja Turtles movie is coming out, but could try to get Nickelodeon and the Turtles franchise on board with, can we catch the real Ninja Turtles of New York? Because I know in the ponds in Manhattan, there are tons of red-eared sliders, which are what the Ninja Turtles are based off of. And then we go into the sewer to catch Master Splinter. Dude, I'm telling you, it's a whole thing.
Dude, that'd be sick.
That'd be insane.
And also in Chinatown, there's tons of exotic animals. We could be like, look, this is where they could, because I know where they sell crocodile meat alligator meat in Chinatown. So it'd be like, where did the sewer gators come from? Here.
Right.
Yeah.
Coyote Peterson was brought to you by our great friends over at Mind Bloom, new sponsor at Macrodosing. It's Mind Bloom, guys. The struggles that we face with our mental health can loom large over our lives. Maybe yours, maybe someone you love. You've tried everything, or have you? Mind Bloom is the solution for the next chapter in mental health and well-being. Mind Bloom is the leader in at-home ketamine therapy, offering a combination of science-backed medicine with clinician and guide support for people looking to improve their mental health and well-being. Mind Bloom connects patients to licensed psychiatric clinicians to help them achieve better outcomes with lower costs, greater convenience, and an artfully crafted experience. To begin, you take Mind Bloom's online assessment to determine if Mind Bloom is right for you. If you're approved, you'll schedule a video consult with a licensed clinician where you will discuss your goals and expectations for mental health treatment. Then Mind Bloom will send you a kit in the mail complete with medicine, treatment materials, and tips for getting the most out of your experience. After only 2 sessions, 87% of Mind Bloom clients reported improvements in depression and 85% reported improvements in anxiety. It's time to enter the next chapter in mental health and well-being. Let Mind Bloom guide you. Right now, Mind Bloom is offering our listeners $100 off your first 6-session program when you sign up at mindbloom.com/macro. Go to mindbloom.com/macro for $100 off your first 6-session program today. That's mindbloom.com/macro. Check them out. They are the leader in at-home ketamine therapy. You get the science-backed medicine, and you get a clinician and guide support for people who are looking to improve their mental health and well-being. $100 off, mindbloom.com/macro. Okay, thanks to Coyote Peterson. That was a great interview. I'm excited about what he's got in store with Billy. We're going to jump back into a discussion that we just recorded where we dive deep into the internet. Enjoy. This is some real freaky stuff.
It's a bad part of the internet, man.
Some real internet sleuthery that we're up to right now.
This is internet anthropology. When you guys hear me say I'm an internet anthropologist, I find groups of interesting people and we figure out what makes them tick.
The stuff you're allowed to put on YouTube is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm currently watching a live feeding of a
tegu.
Bro, this is not okay.
Oh my god. Yeah, those monitors are.
Does a person have this in their home?
Yes, they do.
This should not be legal. I'm all for limited government.
No, this
someone needs to step in.
Then you're not a true libertarian.
Wait,
Big
what
T.
is it? What is it, Big T?
It's a what?
That's a tegu. It's an Argentine
like a
black and
Komodo
white
dragon.
tegu. No, it's an Argentine black and white tegu.
It's a probably 6-foot long lizard that is just in this guy's house. Oh my! Oh, I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. This thing is, and he puts it in his bathtub. Oh my! And then he throws just a rat into the bathroom. And he's standing there next to this lizard eating the head off a rat, just filming it.
Well, it's got to eat.
Yeah, Big T, sounds like you're in form of big tech censorship right now.
Are you?
No, not censorship. Just some sort of...
are you going to go take their lizards?
I think someone might need to take their lizards.
I think we need to form...
Oh my... I can't believe this on YouTube. I can't believe this is on YouTube.
Come take...
Look at this, dude.
Yeah, it's a rat being
Avery,
eaten.
look at this.
Yeah, you can't take our guns, but you can take our lizards.
No, well, people are going to use their guns to protect their lizards from the big government.
The only person that can stop a bad guy with a lizard is a good guy with a lizard. Sounds like you just have to get more lizards, Big T. Billy Eichner's producer wouldn't fuck with you if you had a lizard.
You need to buy more mice to load your lizard.
Billy Eichner's producer won't fuck with me ever again.
Let it be known.
He got dunked on.
Oh, yeah. No, there's some fucked up stuff on YouTube. I guess if it's about animals, you can put it on there.
I guess.
Oh, there's one very painful animal bite. I've seen like some lionesses hunting African buffalo, and they'll go right after the nuts from behind. So they'll come up from behind and just bite the ball sack. And then and then the animal just collapses and lays down. They're like, okay, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah,
Just
that would
kill
do
me.
it. That would do it for me as well.
Please kill me right now.
Yeah.
Enough of the biting of the nuts.
This isn't biting, but getting attacked by an elephant. I've seen videos of that where they put the tusk through you or they just fucking step on you.
You've seen a video of someone getting tusked by an elephant and bailed?
Oh,
I've never even seen that.
I mean, don't put just because I'm a girl, I can watch videos of people dying.
No, but where did you find that?
I don't know, YouTube or like Discovery Channel. I don't know, but like you've seen, or
Yeah.
my brother showed me. I don't know, but like videos of people just getting ran through by elephants.
Oh,
I think I've just discovered the weirdest group of people on the internet.
Who?
People who comment on videos of animals ripping like rats limb from limb and snapping their neck on the technique of the humans who were feeding them. Such as Tim Jacobs, who commented on this video, excellent format of the open area, parentheses bathroom. Silence is golden, and that chase was awesome. Hat tipped, sir. That guy is going to go kill someone.
great kill room.
Yeah, this guy's a serial killer. And then the guy who posted the video said, "Happy to earn your accolades, TJ." These people, how is this allowed?
There's nothing wrong with taking videos of your animals eating.
Right, but isn't it a little bit weird to become a fan of those videos?
Yes.
To such a point where you comment on the technique.
Yes.
Hat tip, sir. He's doing like 2000s internet shit. Like, you have won the internet for the day, sir.
I found a worse one.
This is my favorite bit ever.
This is from _so_fucking_done_. Wow, awesome kill. What a beautiful lizard. The look of pure joy on his face when he saw the rat was so damn adorable. I get pinky rats and mice for my bearded dragons, Gizmo, Kilo, and Miko. These people should be in jail. This is why we have jail.
No, there's nothing wrong with feeding bearded dragons pinky mice.
What are pinky mice?
They're the baby mice that don't have hair.
I agree there's nothing wrong with it, but on the other hand, like, to become a fan of the genre,
Well,
it's not like you're really into
Well-
jazz music, or
what would happen if
you're
were
not watching a guy play the piano and you're like, wow, that's like excellent left-hand technique on that.
What would happen if you had some large frogs that used to eat mice?
I honestly don't know.
And there's
Do you think that?
All right.
Do you think anybody that's a big fan of these feeding videos actually does not own any of the animals? They're just a fan of the death of the snuff films.
I think most of them.
so you
It's
know
like what they want.
Actually, we could go deeper into this. There is a community on the internet
Oh God.
that I have observed from afar. Who this is arousing to them.
what?
I've found them.
It's
Awesome documentary. I love watching these beautiful beasts hunt down their prey. Keep it up.
it was. I saw a Vice article about it.
This person should be in prison. He put the timestamp and then says that crunch is so satisfying. These people should be in prison.
They're like watching this for ASMR type stuff.
Now I have to go to the timestamp. He said 7:19. I'll hold it up to the.
Yeah. So
Are we? No, on what, YouTube that's already housing this content?
But
All right, here. Oh, this is gonna be. Oh wait, hang on. My bad. Oh! That was his neck, bro!
did you just play that?
Oh no! Oh, that guy's got to go to jail. The guy that commented that has to go to prison.
That was the satisfying neck snap.
Yeah. I can't believe this is on YouTube.
So wait, Billy, tell me more about this community that you've definitely infiltrated as an outsider and you're not an active part of.
No, I'm not.
yeah,
It's look.
we can't gloss over that.
Yeah, how do you get invited? How do you
No,
find
wait,
yourself
I
being a
found
lurker on these types of forums?
Billy, which one of
Where is
these
it?
was you that commented?
I will not reveal my username. Wait, let me find it. It was an article that ran that like, it's like, you know those videos of like the people making the huts and like pools with, or like making like the anaconda traps with the chicken, or like the eel traps.
Sure.
So, and you remember how they were found, like a lot of them were fake?
Yeah.
Like there was these YouTube accounts that were building these pools.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's some of them where like there's an anaconda trap, and there's a lot of these kind of groups that seem like they're from the same area that have been making a lot of these YouTube videos of different things.
A guy that like sticks his hand into a hole in the ground and pulls out a giant snake.
Yeah, or pulls out eels.
Yeah.
So there's like in that sort of theme, there's like they just let a giant snake slither around people and like act like they're gonna eat it, and it's like a thing.
That's what they get off on?
Yeah.
Man, people are so fucking weird.
Guys, I got to tell you, the further I go down in this comment section, the more people just absolutely need to be in prison.
Read me some more.
I clicked on this woman's profile and now I've lost where I was. Hang on a second. She said,
It's probably a guy pretending to be a girl.
no, this was like an old woman who had her real name and picture on her profile. Like, it's just one of those you could tell. Oh, now I think it's different comments.
They do this with like the mukbangs
Oh,
too,
it's
where
called
like people
vor. It's called vor.
where people like record themselves eating, and then like people comment like, my mouth is watering, like I can't believe what I'm seeing. Like
Yeah.
those
That's-
people are sick.
No, that's way less insane because mukbangs, you may or may not have gone through a mukbang phase in high school where you just sit there and you're eating, and if you're alone, it's like you're eating with someone.
Wait, what the fuck?
Okay, Mad Dog. I'm glad we got to this part of the show.
How lonely were you, Mad Dog?
You just
Did they have like fake conversations with you? Or they're like, how was your day?
wait. It's called what?
Mukbang. MUKBANG. And it's like you sit there. It's like a YouTube video. It was huge when we were in high school. And you would sit there and they would eat like a lot of food. And then they would talk about like whatever. They would almost have like a kind of podcast like conversation with themselves. And then you feel like you're not alone when you're eating. It's like the Romans. Like you have to be entertained while you eat. And and this is just another form of that. And so you would sit there. I mean, like how you watch TV when you eat sometimes. It's like that, but they're talking to you if you're alone.
Okay.
That's like not a weird thing.
It's pretty weird.
So
not.
I found it. It's called So moving on, vor. Yeah, here it is. So there's people. It's like what?
Oh.
So like getting eaten by a shark or seeing other things getting eaten.
Wait, what?
So I clicked on another video from this guy against my better judgment, which I'm not going to watch. I'm only going for the comments. This time the lizard is eating a guinea pig. One person said, another piggy bites the dust. Great video. Thanks and much love. This guy, hang on. Rather amusing. Wish I had a lizard like that. My past guinea pig was in dire need of some well-deserved punishment.
What the fuck?
These people should be incarcerated.
I'm trying to put myself inside their minds. I don't know how people get off on that. I really don't. I don't understand it.
Are
It's
they
not
actually getting
necessarily
off on it?
I've
No,
seen
it's
a
not.
lot of internet, but I don't
No,
understand.
those people aren't necessarily getting like sexually off on it. There's
It sounds
other,
like
no. There's
if they're
other,
saying another
They
little
are.
piggy bites the dust.
another part of the internet does. There's like they're different videos. These people are just sickos who like to see like a good like fight.
This one was 16 hours ago. I could watch this all day, the way it screams and is fighting for its life, but slowly dying a painful death. I love every part of this.
This isn't true. Wait, no.
I swear, read that one. Whoa. Nice. Read
Billy's
that right
getting
there.
excited. So yeah, this is some weird stuff.
Click on that guy's specific profile and go to his comments. I want to see all this guy's comments.
I also
you-
want to know if
I don't
any
think
of
you
these
can do
people
that.
like complain that they're like there wasn't enough screaming in this one.
I've seen I love the screams. Yeah.
But are there people who are like upset at the quality of the screams? Like not
Or the quality of the crunch.
Yeah, it's like maybe feed your little piggy some milk every now and again. Maybe up it to 2%, get the bone strong.
I mean, I can't believe I've stumbled across. I don't like that. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight.
Wait, what are his other comments?
Sounds like a car alarm. Love it. Crunch time with like 8 emojis.
Crunch time.
This makes great ASMR.
Wait,
See, that's what it is. It's ASMR freaks.
I want
But ASMR freaks, get off to ASMR.
Let's try to
Nom nom. I'm pretty sure that was a tasty piggy.
Okay, so we're gonna do some live internet anthropology. So this is like stuff I do. So click on one of the commenters' profiles, and then let's see what other stuff they're interested in.
Yeah.
And notice a pattern.
Well, I clicked on that one guy, but there was nothing on there. You can't see like comments, I don't think.
Let me find. Send me some sick comments.
Which is a damn shame because these people need to be vetted.
Guinea pig is ASMR to me. Love their squeak.
Okay, yeah, click on that guy's profile.
Yeah.
The profile picture is an anime.
Free crime.
Yeah.
He has 4 videos on his channel. They're all like of some video game. I wish you could find like all their comments.
There should be a way.
It's home videos, playlist, channels, about, and under
Is there an
about there's
activity
nothing.
tab?
You know what? Let's go to Reddit. And we can find someone of the same ilk.
This is just Billy's excuse to go to Reddit.
Yeah.
No.
I can't
He was
believe this
already
is
on Reddit.
this is legal.
Animal feedings. Let's see if it's subreddit.
This little piggy. If you use the word piggy, that should be one of those things that like the NSA flags in emails. If you say like bomb and airplane in an email, if you use the word piggy in an email, it should go someplace to Langley, Virginia, and there should be a death squad at your door.
If Joe Biden puts all these people in jail, I'll vote for him in 2024.
Okay. If Dark Brandon shows up,
What?
that's what they're saying now. Like when Joe Biden does anything good, now like the Democrats have taken back the Brandon meme
Got it.
and they're calling him Dark Brandon.
Got it.
And then they do the thing like the Bitcoin guys had where their eyes would glow and they shoot lasers. That's what they put that on Joe Biden's face. What do you think about student loans, Big T?
I think that's a much better use of our money than shipping it to Ukraine.
Okay. Yeah. I was saying, I saw Dave tweet about it last weekend, and I was saying that Dave had the right idea with the Barstool Fund where he would call people up and FaceTime them, be like, hey, we got you some money. Can you imagine if Dark Brandon did that, if he was like FaceTiming people? It was like, hey, $10,000 forgiven. And then they start crying and thanking him. And then he makes Go Prez Go shirts for himself.
Here's
I mean, I think that would play on the internet.
Here's one from Warrior Knight. Gore, squeak, and twitching. Fun video to watch. Chomp chomp. Let's click on his profile. Yeah, nothing. Prison, jail. That's the only solution.
Billy, what are you finding?
Okay, so I'm currently on a page on the Reddit, the subreddit for ball pythons, and there's an argument about whether they should allow live feeding videos in the group.
These people sound soft, honestly.
Like I understand, yeah. So this is no, but this is like, oh, like this people sound soft, but when is too far? So I'm trying to find it.
Can you imagine if you got like a really, really hot chick to do these videos of her feeding her animals? The freaks that would come out of the woodwork for that.
I think there's stuff like that out there.
By the way, I found that one account I was looking for earlier. It's Tony Bunyard. And she said, "This has made my day after a bad afternoon. Thank you for an awesome video."
Oh my God. This is how she unwinds.
I'm gonna call a senator about this.
Okay.
Something has to be done.
If you look on your phone and click on their profile, you can see their most recent comments.
Oh, really?
Their 3 most recent.
Can you go look up Tony Bunyard? ToniBunyard?
So a lot of people enjoy the insect feeding videos because they like seeing their lizards chase crickets, and since it's not as graphic, and they get the same. From what I'm understanding the psychology, it's like seeing like when you feed your dog or like oh, like look, he's getting having fun, or like when you see like your dog playing, that type of vibe. But then it like then sort of switches into this. I love watching my giant lizard attack and maul rodents for their pleasure.
Oh my God.
This is weirder than any sex thing you could ever come up with.
I think it is a sex thing.
I think it's more sadistic. I think it more has to do with sadism.
But I also think that it's a combination. Like they get off to watching this sort of thing. Like sex and the real dark death aspect is tied into the same feeling that they get.
Interesting. I'm looking.
Yeah, we got to do some deep dives into these commenters.
I think we got to definitely here. Just Big T, if you just read some more comments, I'm gonna try to deep dive, try to get a Reddit because there's got to be a subreddit for this.
The lizard is making art. LOL. Love the blood splatter and crunches.
Oh my God.
Keep it up, bro. Nice vid as always. At least that guy's like casual with it.
He's a fan.
Yeah.
He's a fan of the channel. Great content.
Yeah.
Do you think people like this would be into like putting on a virtual reality headset and finding themselves inside the cage, and they get to virtually get
Yes.
So there's live feedings. Oh. This is a very contentious topic.
I can't believe this is real. I'm gonna have to show it to y'all. I'm not making this up. Dang, thanks! ! I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for you. I like violence.
Oh my God!
Come look at this comment, Billy. Look at that.
I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for you.
Send that into the group. I'm gonna track the guy. I want to see what that guy.
Spider Gaming, 2 words.
I want to see what else that guy likes.
Then the guy who posted the video replied, "Me too. It's more interesting." It's just unreal.
Oh my God.
It's always a real treat when you find a new corner of the internet that you didn't know existed previously.
This is internet anthropology. This is what I do all the time. I go find these sickos and then I laugh at them.
But Billy, you were also in a group of sex freaks.
What? Was I in a group of sex
Spider
freaks?
Gaming's only commented one more time and said, "Dang, bruh, it crushed its skull." That's it.
When was I in a group
You said that you were an observer of this internet group
from afar, like we're observing these guys right now.
But you were in their group.
I read an article about VORE, which then viewed some of the content related to it, but I was like, holy fuck, these people are whack, just like we're doing right now with these other people.
Okay. Well, I think, Big T, I'm going to give you an assignment for nanodosing.
I can't look up any more of this.
I want you to find more comments.
I can't. This is from what? Just these people?
Yeah. I want to know.
I mean, they're all. I've read
else
you
they're
about
into.
all the ones that you know.
Oh, by the way, I finally got the mate. So we're going to all get hopped up on mate as a group.
Okay.
I don't know what that
again?
is, but no, we're not.
It's just like a tea
No, thank you.
with a little extra kick. A little bang bang.
Is it a psychedelic?
No.
Is it like yerba mate,
Yeah, it's like yerba mate.
but like more intense?
Like straight from Argentina. It comes in a brick. It looks like a...
Does it look like a brick of cocaine, Billy?
No, it looks like a brick of weed.
Okay. And but it's tea?
Yeah, it's tea. And you drink it out of this gourd with like a special straw. It's going to be cool. I think you guys are going to like it. It finally got in after a while.
Am I going to trip?
Some guy said,
No, you're going to get like a little buzz.
Some guy said chewing on its head like it was some damn bubble gum. And the person who posted it said, "Big facts, must taste good. She was taste testing the blood."
The guy who posted the video responds to every single comment.
And likes it all.
It's crazy.
And there's 687 of them.
Oh my God.
What a maniac.
This ended up being one of the most interesting and informative episodes we've ever done.
Aren't you glad I show you guys these interesting parts of the internet?
I don't know.
Bloody or not, I still like the content.
Oh my God.
The lizard said, backpack question mark? Oh, no, that's snack.
The rat starts out on the lizard's back.
Do you think that people have ever fallen in love in these comment sections?
Yeah.
And like met in real life? What are those meetups like? Where do you meet up with a person like that?
PetSmart?
The zoo?
Yeah.
So these live feeding videos are people are using the live feeding videos. They're saying that, wow. So they're trying to justify, like, how could you allow a live feeding of animals getting ripped apart, but not allow guns on YouTube?
These people
It's actually, this might get into the forefront of politics and tech censorship soon. We're the first ones on it.
These people can vote.
Oh my God. Okay. Overseer of Yahweh on a dwarf caiman feeding video says, I love how the room gets quieter and quieter with each feeding.
Oh my God.
No, wait, I've also found now the guy who posted the video is arguing with some people. This guy said, what type of lizard is this? I would like to feed it to my snakes. He says, you don't have snakes, especially if you can't identify this lizard. Zilla would destroy your snakes. You don't have a snake big enough to kill her.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh, this is insane, dude.
I never thought I'd say this in my life. That rabbit is a MFing G. He didn't run or beg or none of that. He went out like a boss. He looked straight at the croc's mouth and said, let's get this over with. I know what it is. RIP to the real bugs.
Oh my
What?
God. Okay, officially that's enough internet for the day.
No, we need more.
Somebody said, this is illegal, dude. Stop it. He replied, not where I'm at.
Oh my God.
Just Billy, help Big T and find some internet history behind these commenters. I am fascinated in them.
I want to
trying
get in contact with some of them and see if we can.
If you're listening right now and you like watching live feeding videos and you own reptiles,
please report yourself to the local police.
we'll hop in on
Maybe the
Discord.
FBI.
Contact me. I will keep you anonymous. I'm sympathetic to animal keeping because a lot of animals need to eat live feedings. And maybe we'll have you on the show just to talk to you.
I want to get in contact with this guy posting this video because he is obviously a weirdo to have all these lizards and shit, and he must spend all day replying to these comments. It's all he does.
How many views does he get?
That one had 142,000. He has 12,000 subscribers. So I mean, enough to keep doing it, I guess.
Enough. Yeah, that's a big enough list to turn over to the government.
Yeah, I mean, these people, he has dozens and how many videos does he have? Hundreds.
He's all about that content game.
He apparently also has turtles.
Watching a snapping turtle eat a meal is
How
insane.
many rat heads will turtle chop off is the comment of this video.
Oh my God.
Let's see what the comments are on this.
If you want to see it crazy, look up common.
This is the best and very educational.
Look up common snapping turtle feeding video.
That's what these are.
All right, I'm going to cut this conversation off, and we will dive deeper into these freaks. I want to know more about them. Billy and Big T, you have an assignment. Find out more about them. And we'll do voicemails on Thursday's show. So we'll record that on Wednesday. We'll take your voicemails. What number should they call Mad Dog if they're looking to leave us a voicemail?
347-560-0401.
Okay, perfect. We want to hear from you guys. So hit us up, especially if you're one of these freaks.
Yeah, especially if you're one of these freaks.
Would love to hear from you. All right, thank you guys for listening to Macrodosing. We'll see you guys on Thursday. Love you guys.